All right. Let's go ahead and get this part out of the way now.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to
Google.
All right, folks. So basically, don't ask me how in the hell Don Lemon, of all people, got us here. But this is definitely going to be something we're talking about here. So first and foremost, I don't want to get into the politics of it necessarily. Ordinarily, I would do that on my other YouTube channel, but I do want to briefly deal with that because, first of all, yeah, you got your Negro wake-up call, Don. Second of all, you check this out. They are concerned about what an openly, flamboyantly gay male thinks of women in their prime.
Age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking?
Okay, so they took issue with what an openly flamboyant gay male has to say about women in their prime. A man who isn't even interested in women. Only thing a woman can do for him is point him toward a white man. So you saw how quickly they all got on code. So if anyone is wondering whether or not Nikki Haley is white or not, take a look at how quickly these two white women got on code.
Her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s.
So she's sitting there looking like this is brand new information, like she doesn't know what prime age is for everyone here. So they're acting crazy all of a sudden. So yeah, boy, I'm telling you, they brought the light of day to him in the minute, very quickly, didn't they?
I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing?
Oh boy, they did the Karen thing. I think you need to qualify that. Whoa. I think you need to qualify that.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like?
I think you need to qualify that.
Saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime?
Don't shoot the messenger. No, Negro, they are aiming dead for the messenger's head. No, they are here to assassinate the messenger. Absolutely. To assassinate the messenger. That's exactly what they're doing. Yes, we are killing the messenger. They sure are. However, I do think this does open up an interesting line of inquiry here and discussion because, Don wasn't lying. Even the gay dude in the room, he wasn't lying. It's biology. It's a fact. But we've entered an era where people are telling you that they can debate facts. They can bully you out of facts. They can bully you out of biology. Up is down, down is up. If enough of us just get together, we can bully you out of mathematics. So now, the folks who tell you about climate change and science deniers are here to deny the science of biology. Well, unfortunately for them, we don't do that here. So I wanted to take this as an opportunity to discuss that here tonight. When is a woman past her prime and too old? And this is a question that needs to be asked here because as we go into the 21st century, it is looking rough and rougher by the day. You can go back and go check out my programs, The Woman's Wasteland, Work Until You Die. You can go and check out all of those. The worst investment for a woman to make, about buying a house and buying a mortgage. You can go check those programs out. We've gone into withering detail. Last Train Leaving, we've gone into withering detail This isn't something you can argue, bully, shame, pressure, tell people that up is down and down is up. It doesn't work that way. And there's a reason why, because for the longest time you've been placating people, but now the placate train is pretty much derailed at this point. It's pretty much derailed. What I want to do is I want to start on one side of things, and then I want to bring this full circle to come back around to the other side of things here. We're going to start with people. We're going to end with statistics. So let me say that first. We're going to start with people, then we're going to end with statistics. Now, of all people, Megyn Kelly, former Fox News blonde bombshell, because that's all they hire over there. If you don't look good in a skirt or can't show off your legs, then you can't get a job. That's basically the way that works. So, Megyn Kelly didn't like the fact that Leo DiCaprio, for example, was rumored to be dating a 19-year-old Israeli model. That hasn't actually been confirmed. There have been a bunch of reports that say they were just hanging out. He's not actually dating her. So still waiting to get some confirmation on that, because it seems like that's not the case. But the fact that she came out so angry about it kind of says something to you. And then the first thing you have to keep in mind is, by the way, what about Megyn Kelly? Megyn Kelly hating on young females. I wonder why. So I went back and did a little bit of looking here. Megyn Kelly got hired at Fox News when she was 34 years old. So for those of you who want to know what it looks like, Megyn Kelly got hired at Fox News when she was 34 years old in 2004. If I have the dates correct, 2004. I brought you some pictures from 2008. So presidential election year. Barack Obama running for president. I brought you a picture just 2 years later from a GQ magazine shoot. Yes, in the middle. That's Megyn Kelly in the middle while she was working for Fox News. That was Megyn Kelly in the middle. Well, and then now on the right, you see a picture of Megyn Kelly today looking a lot like Brigitte Nielsen. She's 50 years old now. And you know, Megyn has been making her way in the world. She's made her career for herself. She's had a divorce or two. She's had some kids, had a divorce or two. So here she is at this point in her life now. And there's a woman at 50 years old. She's looking at Leo DiCaprio and saying, you know what? That's a guy who should be eligible for me. He should be in the pool of candidates for me. And yet, Leo's not there. So that bothers them a lot. That bothers them to have a situation where you have somebody who has that kind of pull status. You've been looking at him your whole life. And this is a guy who is younger than Megyn Kelly, by the way. While she's trying to police things, by the way, he's younger than her. She's 52 and Leo is 48. He's 4 years younger than her. So what bothers her? What bothers her so much? I have an idea of what bothers her so much, and brace yourselves. These are not phony pictures at all. On the left is a picture of Leo DiCaprio's ex. She's now 25 years old. That's his ex-girlfriend on the left. Her name is Marone. And on the right, believe it or not, that's Megyn Kelly. Just a year or two ago, I believe, that's Megyn Kelly. Both of them wearing their bikinis, both of them at the beach. I ain't banging on nobody, and I'm not ripping on nobody. What I'm saying is I can see why you'd be mad if you're looking at somebody who is literally half your age. And she has access to all the established men in your age group. You see, let me explain to you exactly what the problem would be here. And I want to explain it from the viewpoint of Megyn Kelly first. I want to explain it from her viewpoint first. And then I want to bring it back around to the statistics. Now, you got to understand, when Megyn Kelly, right before she went to go work for Fox News, Megyn Kelly got a divorce. So Megyn Kelly, right before she went to work for Fox News in 2004, got divorced from her first husband. She went to Fox News when she was 34 years old. So you have to understand, as time goes on, they want another lily pad they can jump to. You talk about monkey branching. Think about leapfrogging. They want another lily pad that they can jump to. So when she was in her early 30s, she found another lily pad to jump to. This guy wasn't quite well to do. I mean, it wasn't like he was filthy rich or anything like that, but she had a place to land. She could drop her husband and jump to another guy. But at the point that she's at right now at 52 years old, she's not really going to be looking for a Starbucks barista. She's looking for a dude who can keep her living in Manhattan, DC, San Diego, San Francisco at the lifestyle that she's currently accustomed to. Well, the problem is once you get over 50, you're dealing with the top half of 1% if you're Megyn Kelly making the money that she makes. Now you got to get somebody who can do that. Those men are in outrageously small supply, and none of them, not a one of them is looking to replace what they got with a 52-year-old. So she's looking at the landscape, and she's trying to use her media influence to shame the fellas and say, hey, y'all supposed to be available for us. There's nothing. You need to be available. So if I want to leave my husband, if I would like to divorce my second husband, like I divorced my first one, I need to have a well-heeled, well-to-do, high-quality man sitting in the wings waiting. And if all you guys in your 40s and 50s and 60s are looking for something half your age, well, I have to stay with the man I'm with. I don't get to exercise hypergamy. I don't have the options. So I need you guys who are producers to stay put so that I have the option of leaving. Does it make sense to you all now? Does it make sense to you now when you see and hear those kind of things coming from the Megyn Kellys and the Melissa Fords? Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future, and there's a lesson to be learned. Melissa Ford is 46 years old. She's 2 years, that's her on the left. She's 2 years younger than Leonardo DiCaprio. 2 years younger. But here's the problem. Melissa doesn't have any options inside or outside of black society at this point. She squandered the 90s. She squandered the 1990s when it was time to check out, to grab a producer and leave the casino. No, she does not look good. Knock it off. She looks good for 46, and her surgeon's work looks good. Knock it off. I'm going to get to that here in a few moments here. The females love to sit up here and take what has been downgraded and then try to talk it up and say, oh, it's a whole lot better. That did show you great. No, it's not. No, it's not. It really isn't. We're going to get to that in a moment. We'll get to that in just a moment. Don't worry, because the first lesson I want to teach here tonight is you cannot sit up here and allow females to tell you what you should like, what, quote, looks good to you. As men, we got biological clocks of our own that tell us what that is. In the middle, you've got Nicki Minaj. She's now 40 years old. 40 years old. She ain't a young, tender anything anymore. She's 40 years old, and the plastic surgeons have to keep a spreadsheet of all the work they've done on her. They can't even make a list anymore. They got to keep a spreadsheet. They got to keep a spreadsheet. That's the kind of thing I want you to keep in mind. So with that being the case, yeah, there's a reason why she'd be mad about that. There's a reason why she'd be mad about that. Then you take a look at Beyonce. And boy, oh boy, 41 years old, and take a look at her, one of the folks who talked them into that. What happened to Beyonce? Well, 2 kids, And a record career later, you can see what happened there. 2 kids and a recording career and a music career later. That's the kind of thing that occurs. She's got hers and left, but let's be very, very clear about something. Don't let anybody tell you about what these folk got. As men, for a long time, we've been using that as a benchmark, but there's a sad reason for it. There's a sad reason for it. And the reason for it is because most fellas out here today, they're afraid to say to the woman's past her prime and too old because their options are not where they should be. Your options are not where they should be. So we sit up here and start talking things up. Let me tell you something here. Let me explain something. There's a bunch of dumbasses out there who say that these chicks here still look good. Man, if you don't quit, this is grandma's gone wild. Not a single woman on the screen right now is under the age of 50. A couple of them on their way to 60. Mary J. Blige, I loved you back in the 90s, baby. Look at my life. Reminisce. You was killing them back in 94. Killing them back in 95. Welcome to 2023. It is what it is. Thank your people with the blonde wigs, but it is what it is. Stacy Dash. This is why I got a more up-to-date picture of Stacy Dash having to move them mattresses in by herself, being 50-something years old and having to move mattresses. We didn't think life was going to end up here. And then Lisa Ray. Some of y'all are living off nostalgia. I'm not sitting up here to bomb on nobody, but some of y'all are living off nostalgia. Lisa Ray is 55 years old. At what point are you too damn old? What is the standard? Let me just try to make this a little clearer for you. I want to discuss standards here because some of the folks here, boy, if you leave them by themselves, they'll try to redefine standards on their own. Shouldn't allow that to occur. The question I want to ask you here is, are you telling, when you sit up here and say a woman, quote unquote, looks good, a woman is in good shape, what are you comparing that to? Are you comparing it to a 22-year-old? Are you making a direct point-to-point linear parallel comparison between a 25-year-old and a 55-year-old? That's the question. This is not about what the women think. I'm saying as the men, we got to have standards. We got to have standards. All this living off nostalgia. Fellas, if you want to know where the modern day culture, worldwide culture, but particularly in America, because that's where we live, culture of entitlement comes from when you have a bunch of men who refuse to disqualify you. That's what creates entitlement. That's what does it. When they can walk in somewhere and there'll be some jackass with a YouTube channel or some moron with an Instagram page putting up pictures of them from 30 damn years ago, or looking at, now this is the thing that bothers me most, looking at obviously, hilariously airbrushed pictures. Pictures of these women that are obviously hilariously airbrushed, and fellas still talking about they look good. Man, the painting looks good. The artwork looks good. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? They're sitting here among grown men in 2023 telling us that airbrushed, photoshopped, filtered picture, she looked good. It's not even the same person, sir. It's not even the same person. And they're sitting here telling us how good they look. This is insanity. To have men sitting around telling each other big up and how good photoshopped pictures look. That's embarrassing. You think you're ever gonna make their swollen, bloated heads in entitlement land come back down to earth when that's going on? You see, there's been a whole lot of spit and heat and verbiage given to about the women, but we gotta talk to the men for a little while and say, hey fellas, exactly when is a woman past her prime? When is the game over? But in the beta male era that we're in now, most of these fellas don't have the option of saying no to anything. They can't say no to anything or anyone, anywhere, at any time. They got to just take what they can get. They are sexual vagrants, sexual panhandlers. They just got to take whatever they can get. So they refuse to say that anything is past its prime. It doesn't matter if it's day old bread broads. Everything's fresh around here. Lisa Ray is literally what now? 30 years removed from what? Players Club? 30 years later, and you still talking about she looks good? Looks good where? In a time machine? This is not about her value as a human being. This is about her value as a sex symbol. Richard Simmons for peace. You saying that Lisa Ray is a babe? All I can say is you Richard Simmons. So, fellas, if you want to agree with Richard Simmons for peace, all right. You can get on his side of the table. Lisa Ray has Richard Simmons' vote. She's got the vote of Richard Simmons in the chat. Folks, can we just level for a minute here? Can we just level for a minute? Can we all just say something right quick? If you're over 50 years old, you are done as a sex symbol. If you agree with that statement, give me the green check mark emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. We got almost 3,000 people in here right now. If you agree, if you're a woman over the age of 50, hey, let's stop the cap. Let's quit playing. It's over as a sex symbol after 50. It's over. If you agree, give me the green check mark emoji in the chat room and smash the damn likes button. The haters are trying to keep the numbers down and make it seem like this isn't right. Hit the damn likes button. There's no such thing as a dime over the age of 50. There's no such animal as a dime over the age of 50. That is a peer pressure myth that has been imposed on fellas out here who are weak of mind and weak of heart to swallow it up. There's no such thing. Time marches on. It is what it is. By the way, nobody tries to tell men that we're sex symbols over 50. Hell, they don't want us to be sex symbols over 30. They're quick to put us out to pasture, but we're supposed to sit up here and fantasize with everybody else. Can we just say it like it is? Stacy, loved you in Clueless. You looked amazing at 22. You looked amazing. Welcome to post 50. The train has left the station. Your capital to trade as a sex symbol is over. You are past your prime. You're too old. And I will just say that bluntly. You're too old for a sex symbol. You're just on time for middle age and menopause. You're right on time. Mary J. Blige, I hope you keep belting out the hits. I will keep buying them as long as you can keep singing. Sex symbol, please take off them thigh boots. Please stop doing that. Please quit. Please quit. Please quit. And folks don't want to sit up here and say this because this rears the ugly specter of reality. There is a dollar value. Let's be very clear about this. There is a dollar value pegged to a woman's attractiveness. Yes, women know this. If she's attractive enough, you know that there is a dollar value pegged to your attractiveness, which is why you are going to try to bully and bludgeon and shame and guilt and strong arm anybody anywhere to saying that you still have that value, because you know that's your societal insurance policy. I had a 63-year-old female, 63, sitting on my program, built like Aunt Esther, and telling us that I don't look like I'm 63. Yes, you do. But that just tells you that she hasn't had enough people give her the light of day. Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. So this is why men have to have means, because a man of means is going to have standards. Jason, why would you say that? Let me explain to you the first reason why that is. Because a man who has worked to gain something is gonna value it. A man who has worked to build himself into something isn't gonna sit up here and lie to you. He had to work too damn hard to get where he is. He had to work too hard, do too much, overcome too many obstacles. He did all this so he can get exactly what he wants. A man who is built ain't gonna lie to you. He's gonna tell you exactly what he thinks because he has earned the right to do so. A fella who ain't built, he just gotta take whatever the hell you throw off the damn table. He gotta take that. This is why the fellas today who talk about what they don't want to do and this, that, and the other, we're going to grab our passports. You were useless over here. You'll be useless over there, but knock yourself out. American Airlines loves you. But if you're producing, it's going to show them what you do. So first and foremost, there's a reason why fellas have to have their weight up to be able to do that. So you don't have to tolerate any individual telling you here, you're just going to take whatever we sling off the table at you. There's no such thing as a dime over the age of 50. Let me hurt your feelings some more right now. There's no such animal as a dime over the age of 40. Hate it all you want to. It's the damn truth. You can't be 40 years old and a dime. You can be 40 years old and reasonably attractive. You can be 40 years old and not toe the hell down. But you can't be 40 years old and a dime. That's a lie. You just can't be. It's not possible, because for us to say that would be the same as saying that there's a direct point-to-point linear comparison between you at 40 and a female at 20. That's delusion. You might be a nice woman. You might be a good, kind-hearted person. You might help the orphans and the infants. That is great. We should build a statue for you. We should not build a bikini and a thong for you. Now that we shouldn't do. You're trying to hold on to something that you don't have because you know there is a numerical dollar value in it. And you want to be able to leverage that value no matter what. And as men, the best thing we can do right now is start thinning the herd and start saying the truth. Nicki Minaj, thank you for your years of Botox injected service. You're not a dime anymore. You're not. To some thirsty male out there with his anime and manga collection still fantasizing about you and your fake ass Bruce Lee wigs, you're not a dime. The jury's out on whether or not you ever really were, but even if we give you that, you're not one now. You're over 40. Game over. Melissa Ford, game been over. Beyonce, welcome to the door of game over. You hung in there long and strong. Turn in your jersey. At what point do we as men stop lying? Because you have to understand, a broke male will lie to everybody. He'll lie to his mama. He'll lie to his school teacher. He'll lie to every damn person around him. It's time for men to be honest in this day and age and just say, hey, we don't really mean this stuff. We really don't mean it. Jason, you can't tell them whether or not they really mean just a dime or not. You can't say whether they are dime or not. The hell I can't. How you figure that? Show me the man who's lined up to pay Lisa Ray's bills. Mic drop. Lisa Ray divorced her husband. Ain't nobody showed up at the damn altar yet to come bid. Stacy Dash divorced her husband. Ain't nobody showed up at the altar yet to come bid. Mary J. Blige divorced her husband. Ain't nobody showed up at the altar yet to come bid. Now you tell me I'm lying? You show me who's come to bid, because I'm telling you, nobody showed up and ain't nobody on the way. There is no nigga anywhere on this earth right now buying his tickets to come and to give Lisa Ray the posh lifestyle she's always dreamed of having on her own. It ain't coming. Stop lying. It's pretty damn pathetic when you sit here and keep telling these lies. You can't name any man who's coming for them. Everybody knows they're single. They've known they've been single now for a decade. When these fellas gonna come swinging in like Black Tarzan, White Tarzan, Asian Tarzan, Martian Tarzan? If any of these people in denial got anything to say, Erykah Badu, my God, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about that woman. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about that. Her sex appeal left the building back during Green Eyes. But that's the problem, is when you're dealing with sexual panhandlers and sexual vagrants, they'll sit here and keep big up in these names forever so their names stay in circulation, but the value left the building a long damn time ago. Let me try to put this in proper context for you. For some of you who might be in denial about it, let me go ahead and see if I can put this in proper context for you. My point to the men right now about why it is so important to be able to say, hey, y'all are past your prime, ladies. The reason why it's so essential to say that is because my point is this. This is not behavior befitting power brokers. As men, this is not behavior benefiting a power broker. This is not behavior benefiting men of resources, status, value, accomplishment, power. This isn't what powerful men do. Powerful men don't sit up here and keep recycling the same washed up, used things all over again. Power brokers don't look backward. Power brokers keep looking forward. Power brokers don't keep looking backward at the last great thing and keep riding it to the grave. Power brokers are supposed to always be looking forward to the next big thing. I want to ask y'all a question right now. What if NFL teams operated the way that a lot of these black men out here do? Oh, I said it. I said that. What if NFL teams operated the way most of you fellas out here do? What if they operated like that? I'll be damned, Joe Namath and Brett Favre would still have jobs. Warren Moon would still be taking snaps. The teams would be absolutely atrocious. It'd be horrific. The starting lineup would look like Al Green and Ronald Isley. And you'd have some clown sitting up there in the damn owner's box and in the VIP box sitting up here laughing. But you know what? They would be drinking malt liquor, not champagne, because your league wouldn't last very damn long. But I want you to think that over for a minute. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't honor people who have produced for us. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is you need to know the difference between an anachronism. Look it up. You need to know the difference between something that is being taken out of its proper chronological context and something that is still in its proper chronological context. I want to say something to y'all right here, right now. Let me be very, very clear. We ain't really got no dimes like that, man. We don't. Rihanna ain't no dime. She cute and everything if you can get past that football forehead, but I guess she's cute, but dime? Man, this is why we got so many fat chicks talking about thick. We slap the label dime on just anything, and it doesn't become something they have to earn and maintain. It becomes something that once they get it, they forget it. They don't have to keep earning it. They don't have to come back and renew it. They got it for life. That's what you call an entitlement. When they got something and got it for life, that's an entitlement. That's sad. But fellas, if you want to know why they act like they're entitled, it's because we don't come around and tell them, okay, we will see you in a year to renew your dime license. You know the reason why you have magazines like Vogue and Cosmopolitan and Playboy and Penthouse? Because somebody had to be the gatekeepers of christening who had the title of attractive, and when they had lost it, when they usher in the new blood. But the way fellas operate today, ain't no standards, ain't no boundaries. Anybody can get it. Anybody can have the title of she fine, she a dime. Okay, she gets it. When does she lose it? When does she lose it? Tell me, at what point are you no longer a dime? When do we say that? Righteously, Jaleesa, I'm going to have you call in a few minutes when I open up the telephone lines. So get her information. She'll be calling up in a few minutes when I open up the phone lines. At what point are you not a dime anymore? At what point are you past your prime? Or is it's just eternal? You just got it forever. It's a title like doctor or president. You just have it for the rest of your life. You got it, and then that's it. You're done. Don't have to maintain it. Don't have to keep it. Don't have to do anything. Fellas, we got to tighten up the standards. We have to make a standard, and then we got to be unapologetic about tightening it and holding it. And what I'm saying is what happens then is, folks are gonna have to get voted off the island. Let me try this in a more humane fashion. They got to get cycled out. They got to get cycled out. It is insane for men to complain about entitlement issues, and we refuse to grab some of these folk with a cane like Sandman Sims at the Showtime of the Apollo and then usher them off the damn stage. We're not doing ourselves any favors. This isn't about Vogue. This is about the standards of men. These folks wouldn't even try that if the men wasn't saying it. They wouldn't even try it if the men weren't saying it. I'm asking y'all right now, where's the 20-year-old, the 21-year-old, the females who are entering their prime that the men today have been big up in? Where are they? Do you know how pathetic that is? Do you know the message that sends that all of our dimes are over the age of 40? They got elected and selected back in the 90s and just ain't never left the stage. Think about that for a few moments. So they just got elected back in the 90s. Beyonce and Melissa Ford, they got elected back in the 90s and just ain't never gonna leave office. Never gonna leave office. They just have a lifetime appointment. At what point is the game actually over and you're done and we move on? It's time for some new blood and you proceed to the next chapter of life. When does that occur? Well, I want to give you a little bit of an idea right here because according to science, I got this from Business Insider, and somebody should tell the damn truth about it. What are your prime years? I'll go ahead and zoom in a bit here so you can see what it shows you on here. When you peak at everything. So when you peak at everything according to science, talking about the ages here, about 7 years old is when you peaked about language, staying alive. I guess your 10-year-olds, can you beat them for energy? Growth for girls at 12, growth for boys at 14. Brain processing power at 16. Remembering names, 22. Life satisfaction, 23. Female attractiveness to men, also age 23. Female attractiveness to men, also at age 23. Muscle strength, 25. Let's see here for MMA. Running a marathon, 28. Bone mass, 30. Playing chess, 31. Remembering facts, 32. Making a Nobel Prize winning discovery, 40. But salary, oh man, for salary, when you hit your peak, for women, salary peaks at 38. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Salary peaks at 38 for women. Salary peaks at 48 for men. Now, do you know what you're saying when you say that? That a woman's salary peaks at 38, but men's salary peaks at 48. Why is that? Very simple answer. Very simple answer. Because men remain competitive in this manner for life. Men remain competitive. We are constantly challenging ourselves. We've taken on more of the responsibility and more of the load. Therefore, when the women are saying, okay, no mas, I'm done. She's like, hey, I'm about to become 40. If I'm going to cash in my chips, I got to do it now. If I'm going to cash in my chips, I got to do it now. And generally, they realize the job has met a factor of diminishing returns. Women are trying to figure out what's the exit strategy. Once they get to, they know that once they see 40 coming into view, a whole lot of options in life are about to disappear, because you see Vogue magazine can sit up here and lie and tell you that Rihanna is this and Mary J. Blige, whoever is that. But do you know what Vogue magazine can't do? Vogue magazine can't force any of the men in your city or in your state to behave the way the Vogue magazine says they should. They can tell you those things, but they can't get anybody to behave as if that's reality. They can't get any of the men you meet on the street, at your job, at your church, at the store, to uphold any of this garbage that they're telling you. That's the issue. They can't get any of them to do that. Delusion's a hell of a drug if you want to live with that, but other than that, you can't get very far with it. Now, I want to ask the ladies a question here, and then I'm going to open up the phone lines. I'm going to ask a question. I want to ask a question and think about it before you answer. Think before you speak. Do you believe? How many of you ladies listening to me right now think that a degree or a job raises your value? Tell me. How many of you ladies think that a degree or a job raises your value? That your value is increasing as a product of what you do for a living or what you went to school for? How many of you really believe that? I'm in school increasing my value. Okay. Let me ask another question here. Ladies, how many of you think that a degree or a job reverses the aging process? How many of you think that a degree or a job reverses the aging process? That what you do for a living or your level of academic achievement is what prolongs your attractiveness. Now, those are deadly serious questions to ask, because what they illustrate is why you start panicking when you get about 40. Your job isn't going to help you do anything except have a job. Your degree isn't going to help you do anything but have a degree. Your value comes from everything else. It comes from everything else, because if you cannot get the people, the men, to respond accordingly, then your degree and your job has no value. Because, by the way, the men who do value your degree and your job, those are the ones you don't want, by the way. They're the ones you don't want. They're the ones you're not interested in. You're trying to figure out about his degree. You're trying to figure out about his job. You know why? Because you're looking for him to set you up, not the other way around. You're looking for him to make it possible for you to sit down and have a gang of kids, not the other way around. So that's a hell of a dynamic to have to deal with. And that's the reason why you have a prime. That's the reason why you can be too old. That's the reason why if you screw off your years, game over. That's the reason why it happens and can happen. However, there's some of you who might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the program that all of your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. This is the place that does this. You are welcome to join us. I'm also going to go ahead and crank up Zoom. So while I'm at it here, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, or Super Chat. My man Dion Coleman. This highlights the need for women to build with and lock down a producer and work to maintain that relationship. He will still love and appreciate you as you age. You'll never be 25 again, so do your best to represent him physically, and he'll appreciate your effort. Well, it's a hell of a good start, let me tell you. It's a hell of a good start. The problem that we have in the modern age is that people don't want to be honest with you about where you actually stand, because they've gotten very adept at selling lies. The problem is they can't get the rest of the world to go along with the lie that they sold you. Now we have a bunch of young females acting like a bunch of little grannies because they have no choice. They even look older. Let me say this. The average 25-year-old female today looks about 30. Ladies, do you all realize this? Going to university and going to college puts years on your face. It puts years on your body. Working at a job puts years on you. That's not my conjecture. A woman sitting up here talking about she's going to spend a decade in school. I'm going to get my associates and then my bachelor's and then my master's and then my PhD. Man, look here. You're basically adding a year to your face and your body with every year that you put in those schools. You're basically aging double time. Then if you got a job, triple time. They always say black don't crack, but we are entering the second, not the first. Not the first. We are entering the second generation of black females who look older than their years as opposed to younger. Let's stop lying. We're entering the second generation of black females who, starting at the age of 22, look older than they are. We just need to call it a spade a spade. But they look older than they are. You know why? Chasing degrees, chasing a job, refusing to chase accountability and responsibility. Yeah, that catches up with you outrageously quickly. You go to your HBCUs. There's a bunch of chicks look 30 years old. How old are you, ma'am? 22? How long you been here? 3 years? You got a job? Yep, double time. That's where you end up at. I'm going to go ahead and post the Zoom link here in the chat. I do give priority to Zoom, but we're going to go ahead and take a few telephone calls. Let me get caller from area code 917. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, I made a mistake the other night. Yeah, this B from Jersey. Yo, man, love the show, but yo, what you talking about right now, you're absolutely right. And it's scary to them. And I'm going to leave that alone so you don't hang up on me again. Have a good show, my man.
Let me get caller from area code 646. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Onan from Queens.
Onan from Queens. What's on your mind?
So I'm going to risk sounding like a simp, but I'm actually going to come to the defense of the ladies. I think that your modern-day female is starting to look older than her actual age because of the things that she has to go through. And if you look at millennials and Gen Z, we've been saddled with so much as far as education and keeping a roof over our head and providing for our loved ones that, it could speed up the aging process, especially for women. And I think that needs to be in consideration, especially when you're talking about Black women.
All right, Onan. Well, I thank you very much for that viewpoint. However, I do have two questions to ask here. So you're saying that you think there's some other reason for that occurring?
Well, I believe it's a multitude of reasons as to why you have younger Black females, specifically under the age of 35, who look a little older than their actual age.
Okay. Onan, I'd like to ask you question number one. Do you sleep with men or women?
Well, I've told you before that I do identify as bisexual. Okay. I just say that just because I like to be as transparent as possible.
And I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. However, I'm trying to put this in perspective. Could it be that your criterion and your standard for what qualifies as a woman looking good in her prime might deviate from those of us on my side of the fence? Could that be?
Oh, it could definitely be. I'm not going to give you any pushback on that.
No.
We all have ideas of what we find to be attractive. It's all determined by our initial experience with sex, with the genders, and
right. But
I'll leave it at that.
Right. But here's what I'm saying, though. What I'm saying is that maybe you've observed females in your family, but like if you haven't been a 30-year-old male dealing with a 30-year-old female who's going to school and got a job, and then you see another 30-year-old female who just has a job, doesn't go to school. Then you see another 30-year-old female who doesn't go to school and doesn't have a job. We recognize the difference between those three. We recognize the difference. And here's the killing thing about it. 30 years ago, it wasn't the norm necessarily to be sitting up here beating down the damn streets to chase a degree. Now it's no longer enough because they have disenfranchised and disincentivized the males to such a point. This is what happens to the female body when she attempts to be both male and female. When she's going to try to occupy a superposition, I'm going to be both the masculine and the feminine. Something's going to break. And we've been playing along and playing make-believe for the longest time that we don't see these changes occurring that are actually occurring. That's the issue. And we do a tremendous disservice to the women to tell them that, oh, it's something else instead of calling it for what it is. Your grandmamas and your mamas didn't have this problem. Your grandmothers and your mothers were also not competing with the men to be men. They were competing with each other to be the best woman they could be. They were not competing with the men. I submit to you, for every female, quote unquote, millionaire you can name, yeah, they get older as they go. They get older, they get imbalanced, they get whacked out. And those are the ones who make it to that status. For the average female humping it at a 40-hour-a-week job and fighting to get a degree and everything else, it's putting years on them. It's putting years on those of us who've been to college. We notice the differences then. I'll let you have the last word.
Well, I think it's I think the situation now is largely economic, and I'm a millennial, and so I can sympathize with the 40 and under crowd, right? Because I understand the position that we've been put in by economic forces that we haven't had any control over, and again, I believe that this ages out the females, but particularly with the Black female. And so I'm just a little more sensitive as far as judging a Black woman by her looks. But I'll
that's a very nice platitude, and don't get me wrong, I certainly take into account societal factors. However, we also have to take into account another societal factor. They chose this. The Faustian Bargain required 2 hands shaking, not 1. The devil didn't shake hands with himself. He shook hands with a willing collaborator. Take a look at Stacy Dash. Stacy Dash in her damn 50s will not admit that she's wrong. She's in her 50s. She looks like a freaking rodeo clown moving a damn mattress by herself with her white girlfriend. But she won't admit the obvious. She would rather look humiliated and stupid than to turn around and say, you know what, this is a bad look. I'm wrong. I need some changes. She won't do that. Mary J. Blige, same thing. She got with 50 Cent. Hey, can you put me on the show Power so I can pretend I still got it? Lisa Ray, let me go to Fox Soul. Let me see if some thirsty deadbeats on the internet will still keep calling me sexy, reminiscing about what I was 30 years ago. 30 years. Think about that for a few moments, folks. Think about this for just a second. 30 years ago. So in other words, her aging period has now exceeded the first 26 years of prime period. She's got more years in front of that than behind it. Think about, and she's being given credit not for the last 30 years, but for the first 26. That is a horrific way of doing things for one reason. We as men don't get that. If a man was making $1 million $1 million a year 30 years ago, the women don't say, well, you know what? I give him credit for what he was doing 30 years ago. Ooh, he sure do make big bank. They don't say that. They say, yeah, you used to have it, but you ain't got it now. Get out the way. That, and they do it without apology or without remorse. That's how we get treated. Nobody tells us about what we used to be making it pop 30 years ago and telling us we still get it popping now based on what we did 30 years ago. Is if you ain't producing today, they have no problem humiliating you, making memes and songs and every damn thing else. As men, we do ourselves no favor having no standards. We need to make the standards a lot more strict and a lot tighter. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 240. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, yeah, this is DJ GPS out of D.C.
Okay, DJ GPS, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I came in late because I've been offline. I moved to a new place. I had no internet, and I just called the number on a humble. So I came in late on the show. But what I can tell you, Jason Black, from being in the field, because, you know, I've been out about doing field work past 6 months before I relocated. Now, I was in Bethesda, man. Our sisters, man, these sisters, man, oh, my God, I just can't describe it. They won't even look at a brother. Now, and look, you know, because I'm kind of a job of internet celebrity and I DJ. So I keep my drip stays on point, even though I'm a 56-year-old man, but I'm good to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm in shape, everything. All my kids grown. But these women won't even acknowledge a real man when they see one. I've had like out of 6 months being in the field doing this situation, I met only 2 sisters that spoke to me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me get this straight. Hold on a second. How old did you say you were again, Mr. DJ GPS?
I'm 56.
Okay, you're 56 years old. Do you have any children?
All my daughters are grown.
Okay.
All my daughters are grown.
How many daughters have you had?
Michelle, Antoinette, Andrea, and my new stepdaughter, Skylar.
Okay, so you've had 3 biological, 1 non-biological. But all of them are grown. That's great and everything.
Exactly.
That's great and everything, but you have had...
Skylar
okay, slow down. We're taking this step by step. So you have had 3 biological children, 1 non-biological here. You're now 56 years old, and according to you, these women out here don't know how to respond to a real man. So I suppose my first question I should ask you is, are you suggesting then that you are a real man?
Yes, I am. Okay. I sure can.
Can you explain?
I sure will.
Can you explain to us exactly what are the characteristics about yourself that constitute you objectively, not subjectively, but objectively, as a, quote, real man? These are things that would apply and that women would agree with across the board.
Well, the same things that you say of a real man is able to work with his hands, manicures, not manicures, but maintains himself and not overdo it. A man who knows how to think his way through a situation instead of going to an emotional response. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, I put in work on building my character, and it's not an easy thing. I'm glad you're out here to help.
I'm glad to hear that, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. You said did you say you live in D.C.?
Yeah, I'm from D.C., born and raised in D.C.
Okay, you're from D.C., but do you currently live in D.C.?
Oh, no, I live in Montgomery County now, my man.
Okay.
I stepped my game up back in the day.
Okay, well, that's great. I'm not sure how long ago back in the day was, but that's very, very good to hear there. Now, here's the issue, though.
Well, I've been out here.
Here's the issue.
I've been out here like about 20 years.
Okay, well, here's the issue, because I'm kind of familiar with Montgomery, not drastically familiar with it. Kind of familiar with Montgomery County. It's not an upscale area necessarily. I mean, it's not the Hamptons, but be that as
it's not.
But be that as it may, it doesn't have to be. But be that as it may, here's my next thing. At 56 years old, do you believe that you are occupying the socioeconomic status that a 56-year-old male who would hold himself up as, quote, a real man should be occupying?
I can't give myself that one. No, I have to stand down on that one. No, I am not that guy. No.
Right, because here's the thing. You may be an otherwise upstanding citizen. That's great. We need more upstanding citizens. You may be an otherwise responsible father. Fantastic. We need responsible fathers. However, a woman meeting you today isn't meeting you at 26 or 36. She's meeting you at 56. She would be putting her life and her fate, and more importantly, her future, such as it is, in your hands. Now, let's just say that, for example, you came and made the acquaintance of a, let's just say, 40-year-old female. You're 56. She's 40 years old. She is now thinking about what her life is going to be like in 20 years when she is 60. She's looking at you as her social and economic leader. And she's going to take a look at how you have steered. She's going to take a look at you and how you have steered your own ship and how you have handled your own situation. And she's going to say, the only thing he can possibly do is lead me where he is. So when you take a look at all the other options in the top 20% in Montgomery and PG County and even down in DC proper, how you stack up against them, because the women are not looking at you as an entity on your own. They're looking at you as part of as one person within the overall makeup of the geographic area that they're in, plus the internet. So if you're not, the real question is how you stack up against them.
Oh yeah, Jason. My wife now. My wife now of 13 years is 40. But it's like I'm not out looking for women, But when I go out and, because I have to be courteous, I have a reporter can have with me. So when I do run into sisters out here, they are, it's like we as black men, we've done something wrong to all of them. It's like they're looking at their phone. I met one sister, she spoke, but she was a country girl. She was from Tennessee. But the women up here, like, they're not giving that a man a chance. I don't see how to, but now the younger generation, the younger crowd, seems like they click up a little bit better than, I say, people over 35. These brothers in trouble over 35.
Well,
because
I mean,
the women are like,
okay, well, you're in trouble at any age if you don't exude confidence and competence. And with all due respect, I'm going to make this subjective. I'm going to say subjective and not objective. I'm being kind. I'm going to make the subjective judgment here that the results that you're getting are a reflection of these women's experiences. Because what you're saying is that they're making judgments about you in a vacuum, that they don't have anything to compare it to. And what I suggest to you is that take a look at where they work, take a look at their jobs, take a look at their schools, take a look at what they run into on the internet, and then you come through the door and they're comparing you to all those. And with that being the case, it's very likely that they're actually making a judgment based on what they've seen and experienced. Let me ask you 3 questions. Number 1.
Okay.
How much money do you have saved in the bank? And if you're going to lie good.
I mean, I don't got no money. I don't need to lie. I'm hood rich. I don't need to lie. I ain't got no money saved in the bank. I'm on my SSI. I'm disabled. I got reconstructed shoulder, hernias, the bipolar, everything. I'm checked up. I get my little check every month. That's how I'm rocking, bro.
Okay. Well, thank you for your candor, and I appreciate that. Under those circumstances, a female would say, well, what's he going to do for me? She's going to make an objective judgment because she's like, he's 56 years old. He's not going to get any younger. He's not going to get any healthier. And he's probably not going to get any more financially affluent. So what I see is what I get. So that doesn't mean that you can't get that doesn't mean you can't get a female. Wait. That doesn't mean you can't get a female.
That's what you might have.
No, I didn't say no. Okay. That doesn't mean you can't. That does not mean that you can't get a female. What it means is you're going to have to choose from the 6s and the 4s and the 2s. The 8s and the 10s are going to be off limits. The 6s, 4s, and 2s will be within your purview. But you're going to have to make a convincing case. And by the way,
there's an old term called...
It's not about my judgment either. Just keep in mind, the females meeting you, they're going to be based on their judgment. They got fathers and grandfathers. And if you strike them as being grandfatherly, they're going to make a judgment based on that.
Good point. But it's an old term called pulling the girl up by her boots, okay? If she ain't been getting the proper information or the proper education of how to guide her life or direct her life with a man that's going to stand in her corner no matter what, because man's going to be a man. I'm standing on my own feet. All my responsibility is taken care of. What you looking at towards at me is like, what kind of leadership role or what kind of ideas or what kind of wisdom can he pass on to me being an older man?
Correct.
Knowing that he might not be around much.
Right, and what they're looking at you, and as I said at the beginning, they're taking a look at where your decisions and your leadership took your life. And then they're going to make a decision whether or not they're going to assume that this is the best you can do, because we're not going to judge you on potential, we're going to judge you on results. And they're taking a look at your results, and I'm suspecting they find the results a bit lacking in that regard. So that doesn't mean you can't be with a female. But what that does mean is you'll be picking from the 6s and 4s and the 2s, not the 8s and the 10s. And even the 6s will be skeptical because they're always telling themselves that they're 8s and 10s. So the 6s will be skeptical. But first and foremost, they're going to look at your life and your results. They're going to judge you by that, not your potential. They're going to do what I did. What's in the bank account? What is he driving?
Okay, I missed it at first. I got you now. I missed it at first. Potential. I got you. I missed it first. I got you now.
I did a program talking about performance versus potential. I need to do an updated version of that too, by the way. Thank you very much for giving us a call. I got to do a remastered update of performance versus potential. That phone call right there, folks are going to say I'm going soft. But that phone call right there, that was a good example of the misconception of performance versus potential. Because I asked him, what does he have? That's your performance. The performance is lacking. Yeah, but the women need to understand my abilities to, and everything he named were intangibles. Well, my leadership and my vision and this, that, and the other. And that's when you realize it's like, oh, okay, something's lacking there. It's lacking there. Let me get caller from area code 917. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is D from Jersey again, but that last
okay,
caller.
D, one phone call per broadcast. Please take the night off. Let me get caller from area code 917. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, hello. This is Gato. Do you hear me?
Okay, Gato, and where are you calling from?
I'm from New York.
Okay, which borough?
Huh?
Which borough are you from, sir?
Oh, from Brooklyn.
From Brooklyn. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Gato calling from Brooklyn. And what's on your mind, Gato?
Right. Okay, so you're talking about real men, right? Is that what you're talking about?
What's on your mind, Gato?
Real men? Yeah, I'm like saying, man, women look fine. What are you talking about? They look good, man. They look better than ever, man.
What do you do for a living, Gato?
I do accounting.
What level of accounting have you achieved, Gato?
College, man. I'm a professional.
You're a professional what, sir? What level of accounting have you acquired, sir?
Accounting. I'm a professional accountant. That's what I do for a living.
You are a professional accountant. In what capacity, sir?
In what?
In what capacity, sir?
I work in accounting.
Yes, sir.
Public accounting.
That doesn't tell us where or how, sir. What kind of accounting do you do?
Public accounting.
Public accounting. What does that mean, sir?
I work for the government, for the IRS.
Oh, okay. So you work for the IRS. You're not a real accountant. You work for the IRS.
Yeah, it's public accounting. That's what it is.
No. You're not a real accountant. See, my CPA is a real accountant. You're a government employee. You're not a real accountant. You just work for the IRS. You have a job title that says accountant, but you're not a real accountant. You just work for the IRS.
I have a degree in accounting.
If you were actually good at accounting, why would you be working for the IRS? Why would you not be a CPA?
I didn't do a CPA because I didn't want to.
Sir, the only people who don't get their CPA are those who can't do it, not those who don't want to. You can't make any money as an accountant without your CPA, sir. All you can do is go to work for a government agency or something else that's going to pay you pennies. So if you're a real accountant, then
I made six figures working for the government. Okay.
I don't have any way of, sir, I don't have any way of being able to substantiate that because I would have to see your actual income to be able to say that. But, yeah, sir.
Anybody can make six figures.
Anybody can make six figures working for the government after 25 years. Yes, they can.
100K is nothing. A police officer makes $75,000 after 5 years in New York.
Well, if you live in New York City, that's great, and that's not a great thing to say that a New York police officer makes almost as much as you do. So that's what I'm saying. Not a real accountant. I didn't say you didn't go to school for accounting. I didn't say you didn't go to school for accounting. I'm just saying this isn't a real accountant. However, the bottom line is anybody out there could get your job. You didn't have to go to college for it.
You need a college degree.
You need a college degree to work for the IRS?
Yes, sir.
Sir?
I mean, if you want to be an accountant for the IRS, I do audits.
Now, did you all notice I asked him what he did, and I work for the IRS. He didn't say I do auditing, so he's making this up as he goes along. So you all heard me ask several times. Be quiet, sir.
Well,
be quiet, or I'm going to mute you, sir. Be quiet, or I'm going to mute you. This is a teaching moment for everyone else, not you while you're making up your fictions. Now, you all notice I asked him several times at the beginning, what do you do? In what capacity are you an accountant? And he kept saying, I'm an accountant. I'm a public accountant. Then it migrated from public accountant to, I work for the IRS. I work for the IRS. Then it migrated from that to, I do audits. You notice I asked all of that multiple times at the beginning. So those of you who've been longtime listeners, you know that I asked that over and over again, because if he was going to say I'm an auditor for the IRS, he would have said that from the beginning, but he didn't say that. So I just wanted you all to understand that's the reason why that happened.
I have a 4-year degree in accounting.
Sir, if you're going to make this, up, you got to do better than this. You just have to do better than this.
I have a 4-year degree in accounting.
Okay.
I went to Baruch College in New York City, one of the best public schools for accounting.
Sir, you're making this up as you go along now, and that's cool and everything, but the bottom line is you've had an opportunity to explain that. It didn't hold up very well.
Well, I'm just saying, if you don't believe me, that's okay, but I'm telling you what I do. That's what I do.
Sir, you said that you live in Rookland. That's very nice.
Yeah.
He lives in Rookland. And how long have you lived in Rookland?
For 20 years.
So you've been living in Rookland now for 20 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And of that time, how long you worked for the IRS in Rookland?
Well, I graduated in 2010. I've been working for 12 years. I started making $50K. Now I'm making 6 figures. It takes time, but that's what I'm making.
How old are you, Gato?
I'm 50 because I kind of graduated late, man. But it's never too late.
Do you all hear this now? Do you all hear this? He's 50 years old. Started working for the IRS at 38. He started at $50,000 in New York City. He started in 2011? In 2011 in Rookland, New York. He was making $50,000 a year in 2011 in Rookland, New York. He has since then doubled his income in 12 years. He's got double the money.
Yes, sir.
He got his degree in accounting when he was 37, 38.
Yes, sir.
So he started going to college when he was what, 30?
No, I actually graduated college at 26, but I had some issues, man. So,
So you were sidelined. You went to college for accounting and you were sidelined for a decade.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I went back to work and then,
Yeah, does this sound correct to any of y'all, by the way? This sounds like I'm getting punked by Ashton Kutcher. It really, really does. This doesn't even sound real.
Hey,
this call doesn't even sound real.
I'm good with numbers. That's what I do. That's how I make my living, man. To tell you the truth, I was in private accounting for a few years
and couldn't
before
cut
I went to the government.
And couldn't cut it. So that's why you had to go work for the governments, which I understand.
No, I was working in hedge fund, but I was doing good.
Sir, if you've had an accounting degree for the better part of the last 15 years, this is a waste.
Yes, sir.
This is a waste to be working for the federal government. You could be making $250,000 in the private sector.
Yeah, no, but the private sector is really difficult. You could only make money if you work in hedge funds and private equity.
And they have plenty. And New York City has plenty of hedge funds, plenty of private equity.
Yeah,
it's the finance. New York City is the financial capital of the world. It is the place where all the hedge funds and equity firms are. So yes, sir. Yeah, you chose the right field in the right city, and yet you're not you didn't go to work for one of them. 14 years later, he wants to go to work. A decade later, he's going to work for the IRS.
Because the hours are crazy. When you work private equities, you got to work from 9 in the morning to 11 p.m. at night.
And the hours at the IRS at the IRS are not crazy?
There is 9 to 5 for me. It's better. And you don't have people like
the IRS. The IRS has been historically understaffed. The IRS has been historically understaffed, sir.
It doesn't matter, but when you work for the government and you're not getting paid a lot, you're not going to put crazy hours. You get what you pay for. It is what it is.
Yeah,
it's 9 to 5.
This doesn't. Yeah, this doesn't.
Because you're an accountant. You're an accountant and you work for the government.
No, sir. I talked to my accountant to go beat up the folks at the IRS on my behalf.
Well, then he doesn't work for the government. Then if he doesn't tell you, he doesn't work for the government.
No, sir. No, sir. He would just tell me why he's a CPA and would never work for the IRS. We've talked about that a number of times. We've talked about that a number of times. So why he would never work for the IRS. He mocks IRS people. He mocks IRS auditors. He would never go to work for one. No disrespect. No disrespect.
Doing well,
no disrespect to IRS auditors. No disrespect, even though you bastards have done it to me twice. No disrespect. However, let's be very, very clear. The IRS is not where the best and brightest in accounting go. Everyone knows that. No disrespect, Gatto. But you know, the IRS is not where the best and brightest in the accounting field ply their trade. Those hedge funds you were talking about, those hedge funds and accounting firms, that's where they go. They don't go to work for the IRS.
But I'm not saying I was. Did I ever say it was? I never said that.
Oh no, you were trying to regale us with your expertise as an accountant and telling us how great it was. And I was saying, I don't think it's that sweet. And in reality, now we're saying, yeah, it's really not like that. That's my whole point. So now that we have established that, with all due respect, Mr. Gatto, I can understand why you would think that Mary J. Blige and Stacy Dash and Lisa Ray are, eternally beautiful and whatnot. Because if I was a struggle accountant compared to a CPA, I'd say the same thing. So you're speaking from your status in life.
Sir. Okay, but what I'm saying is, why are you criticizing these women? I'm not saying
I'm not criticizing anything. Tell me what I'm lying.
What do you think we are? You think we're like models?
Sir,
are models?
Sir, beautiful.
Why are you putting them down?
Beautiful and ugly are subjective things. I never said that. What I said is you cannot compare a 56-year-old Lisa Ray to a 25-year-old on any level. Now, is that untrue or is that accurate?
That's true, but who's saying they look better than a 25-year-old? No one's saying that.
No, sir. I didn't say they look better. Work on your cognitive language skills, sir. Let me try this again for the slow bus children. These women out here who dropped the kids on their heads and were smoking crack, y'all have messed up the world. You cannot compare a 56-year-old female to a 25-year-old female. It's not about whether you think she's better. There is no comparison. One is head and shoulders above the other. Period.
I mean, youth is youth. If you play basketball, you can't play.
Yes, sir. That's the point. Yes, and that's the point. However, we have this societal delusion that keeps promoting this propagandistic fiction that you never lose it. That once you get the title at the age of 25 or 30, we're just going to honor that and play make-believe for the rest of your life. That's the problem.
Right. But what I'm saying is, right, like if you're 50 like me and I'm hanging out with a 25-year-old woman, I'm playing myself, man, because sooner or later, she will leave me for another man or she will have an affair behind my back with a different man. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm insecure, but I'm playing myself, man.
No, sir. If she feels that she is with the best, sir, well, in your case, it would have to be for money because you don't bring much more to the table. However, if she is with a man that she feels brings more to the table and she is with the best she can get, she's not going anywhere. So the bottom line is the problem has been your deficiency.
She will make believe she likes you.
Okay, sir. Excuse me, sir. So you're saying that 56-year-old Lisa Ray wouldn't cheat on you also because you don't make enough money?
She wouldn't go out with me.
Well, stumble, stutter. Let's try it again. Sir, are you saying that Stacy Dash would not cheat on you because you don't make enough money?
I mean, from what I see is like a lot of guys are playing themselves.
Okay, sir, no,
like,
sir. I'm going to ask this again. You said if I get with a 25-year-old, I'm playing myself because she just wants me for my money. So if you had any money, which you don't have, but let's play along and pretend you did. If you did, you're telling me that a 56-year-old woman would not do the same thing?
Maybe, yes.
All right.
She would do the same if she wanted
all
to.
right. Hang up the phone, Gato.
But she knows. But wait a minute. So let me say
Gato,
something, right?
I was trying to let you
but
off
know,
easy.
Listen,
I just gave him an exit strategy. Rather than hang up the phone, he's trying to stand strong and be stubborn. Dude,
what I'm saying is,
go ahead and step 50, on in it.
And you're with a 20-year-old, you know what she wants. You know what she wants, right? If you're 50 and your lady is 20, you know what she wants, right?
Sir, all women are
it's not you.
Sir, all women are the same. Is this news to you at 50? There's a lot you don't know at 50.
Much as men. They don't do it as much as men. They don't.
So you're saying no, sir, no. Are you saying that women in their 50s are less financially avaricious and motivated as women in their 20s?
Yes.
Hang
what
up
do you mean? Like,
hang up the phone.
Like to give their money.
Hang up the phone.
That. If you've been with women,
hang up the phone, Gato.
Like to give out their money. You know
Gato, hang up the phone. Just hang up the phone.
Men throw out the money like that.
Sir, you've already said it. Just hang up the phone.
You throw out.
All right. Well, folks, there you have it. There you have it. I can't say anything more. There it is. There it is. To anybody who was sitting up here trying to stand strong about his accounting credentials and whether that was valid or whatnot, and was that an indicator of his intelligence and his knowledge of the world? There it is. There it is. Are the females in their 20s, the females in their 50s, less money motivated and avaricious than the females in their 20s? Yeah. Why, sure, you can trust them. With Lisa Ray still saying that to this day she expects a man to pay her way at 56. Mary J. Blige, my next husband got to make more money than me. Stacy Dash, same thing. Vivica Fox, same thing. They in their 50s and 60s and you just heard him just deny reality. Just, I ain't gonna have it. Why, sure, I ain't gonna believe none of that right there. That don't mean nothing. Over on Zoom, if you want to be on, just go ahead and turn on your camera and everything there. So if you're going to be on Zoom, that's what you'll need. Somebody's on Zoom over there. If you don't get things straightened out, we're going to have to leave you behind here. In the meantime, let me get caller from area code 618. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Sheikah. I don't know, God just wanted me to hear this because you sound very ignorant. And I want to, really tell you that I don't know what space or time you're living in, or I don't know if it's because the internet has got you juiced up to where you can just say whatever and nobody see your face, but you sound really ridiculous.
Your name is Sheikah.
Yeah, Sheikah.
And where are you from, Sheikah?
I am from North Carolina.
Okay, your parents went ahead and sticky taped together two random syllables and said that was your name. But I'm the ignorant one. But I'm the ignorant one. Though. But I'm ignorant.
But it means something.
Yeah, your parents parents cobbled together two random syllables and made it your name. But I'm ignorant. But it means
something, though. You can Google it, and it means something.
Ma'am, yes, Sheikah means parents who came from Section 8 Wiccan government cheese. That's what the name Sheikah means.
Well, whatever you want to say, what does that mean? That's ignorant, you saying that. It's ignorant that you just made up your objective in your mind to say something dumb like that.
What did I say tonight that was factually inaccurate?
Celebrities name people. The celebrities name their kids Apple.
Yes, ma'am, and that's a testament to the kind of people who raised you. Yes.
So what are you saying?
That's a testament to the people who raised you. Okay, ma'am. Well, we're not. This is not going to be a time for Sheikah to have a crack baby. This is not going to be a time for Sheikah to have a crack baby wig out. So stop with all the trying to drone on the filibuster. This is not the time for that. What is it that we said tonight that you're so triggered by something you heard tonight? What is it that you heard tonight that got you to call me?
I don't know where your parents from, so you're basically just
okay,
going back
Sheikah. I know where your parents are from. Your parents are from Skid Row. But like I say, Sheikah is very, very upset and very triggered. My name is Sheikah, and you ignorant. What does Sheikah mean? You can look it up. I already looked it up. It means she whose mama got run through by the Temptations. That's what the name Sheikah means. Sheikah means she whose mama used to be walking up and down the track in Baltimore. That's what Sheikah means. Sheikah means I am a size 16 with 4 bastard kids. That is what Sheikah means. It comes from the native Ghetto East tribe. My name is Sheikah, and you ignorant. Your name is Sheikah. I mean, that punchline writes itself. My name is Sheikah. I think I'm smarter than you. You R2D2 talking ass heifer. Caller from area code 574. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Charles, and I'm from South Bend, Indiana.
All right, Charles from South Bend. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man. I don't know your last couple of callers, man, but I want to go back to what the guy I forgot his name and so-called accountant was talking about. Man, woman that's like 25 or 55. I would say that the woman that's 56 years old in her 50s feels more entitled to for a man to do for her than a woman that's like 25 years old. And then the thing is, I look back at myself, man. I was like, I'm 54, man. So when I was a teen, man, when I was 18, 19 years old, I used to look at guys, moms back then, and they were stay-at-home moms, and I just said to myself, man, I can't wait till I get older because these women look nice. You know, I remember saying that about my friends' moms, man, when I was a teenager, you know, and now, man, since I'm there, I'm like, oh my God, what happened? You know, and it goes back to what you're talking about, man. I mean, women who work, women who do what the man's supposed to do, and taking care of family and paying bills and working. It wears on you, man. It's a heavy load these women are carrying, man, and it shows in how they look, and it shows, man. It shows. You can't deny it, man. This whole thing about women working the way they are right now, this is actually new. You know, because prior to 1970, man, most women did not work. Most women did not work in the workplace, man. They worked that they would stay at home moms. Women would marry. So this what we're going through right now, man, is something that's like brand new. We don't have no kind of precedent toward this to see the effects of it, man. But we're seeing it.
You're in the middle of a giant, uncontrolled societal experiment. That's what you're in.
Yeah.
We are in the middle of a giant social experiment where there's no controls, no oversight, and nobody at the damn wheel. That's what we're dealing with right now. And it's a hot air balloon just buzzing around, basically. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 618. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, my name's Boaz. I'm calling for East St. Louis. That lady you was talking to, whatever her name is, Sheikah, she from East St. Louis. She got an East St. Louis area code, and a lot of women down there in East St. Louis is all of them act just like that.
No, East St. Louis, Illinois is okay. Calm yourself down.
Several, fathers.
Let me go ahead and take him down a bit here. He's in the bathroom currently. East St. Louis is one of the biggest slum areas in America. I'm not going to impugn her for it. You know, she comes from where she comes from. But Yeah, East St. Louis would be one of those places where you wouldn't want to get caught at night in that area. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 404. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on live. Put the crack pipe down. What is your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from 404 is trying to get her cigarette lighter to start heating up the rocks before she can start speaking. She got to get her courage together. Hold on a second. Yes, my name is... Hold on. My name is Alice. Okay. Get on detox and call us back. Caller from area code 469, you're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Big Stump from Dallas, Texas.
Big Stump from Big D. What's on your mind?
Jason, I got a few points I want to share with you. And you know, the ones over 30, the ladies over 30, you know, God help them. Most of those are in denial. They all are saying, or their grandma telling them, Jesus got somebody just for you. So God got somebody just you can let your husband go, let your baby daddy go, let your provider, your protector, all of them, let them go if you're not happy. If you're not feeling that thing, you know, if you're not feeling good about it, let them go. God got you, girl. You know, that's what they tell. If you're 22 in the waist, you ain't got to lose no weight, get no man. That's what they are telling each other, 30 and above. But let me tell you something, Jason. You know, you like a voice in the wilderness crying out, man. But you also like a jackhammer beating up the concrete. And your message is trickling down. My niece told me, and man, it just felt like a breath of fresh air when she told me this. And she's like 11 years old. She told me, he said, I don't want to be an old woman with 25 cats and 30 plants. I don't want to be that. I said, man, this word is getting out. Just keep doing what you're doing, brother, because it's trickling down. The younger, the ones 29 or 30, 25 and younger, they hearing it, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. That's all I got to say.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Big Stomp checking in. Let me get caller from area code 856. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Anna out of D.C.
Hello, Anna out of D.C. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I wanted to address your comment earlier about this program regarding a woman can't be over 40 and a dime. When you and I had our conversation back on January 31st, you mentioned that Colin Kaepernick's girlfriend, Nessa, is a 10, but she's 41. So how is that possible? It's very contradictory, don't you think?
I'm not referring to what she is today. I'm referring to what she was when you met her.
That wasn't what you said at the time, but I digress.
No, well, slow down. What did I say at the time? Did you ask me that?
You said
did
who
you
are tens,
did you
and I said, well, I'm not sure who tens
did
might
you
be.
ask me that? Because if you asked me that, then I probably also said that Felicia Rashad is a 10. That was from the Cosby era 40. That's the Cosby era 40. Yes, ma'am. And that's what I mean. So I'm giving you examples of what a 10 would be. Felicia Rashad, a 10. Nessa, a 10. Halle Berry in her prime, a 10. So those are my examples of it. So yes, if you're asking me what a 10
but if that's
is,
what you meant, you would have
no, ma'am.
said that
What I'm saying is that's what a 10 is. If you can find it, ma'am, you're not going to talk over the host, ma'am. I said what that means, ma'am. I said what that means, ma'am. I said what that means. Just because you're a size 18, okay? She's very angry and very triggered. Y'all remember Anna? Call me Anna. It's Anna. My name is Anna. It's Anna. So y'all know this, these size 18s are very triggered tonight. Anna has a lot of mental and emotional issues. She's very, very upset at life. Valentine's Day was basically tombstone for Anna. Life in general has never treated her very well. As you can see, she's very, very angry. She's calling in. Y'all can tell the big husky bad built gals when they call up. Why you saying they can't be a 10? What about Nessa? What about that there? Okay. She's very, very angry about that. On Zoom, brother, you got the most going on. Is it taxi driver? Do we catch you on Uber? What's going on?
I ain't doing no Uber. I'm going to get some gas.
Okay, brother, you got a lot going on Uber in there.
Ain't no Uber over here.
Okay, bro. Just what is your name? Where you calling from? You got the most going on.
I ain't got the most going on. I'm good at multitasking. But yeah, I was required to call in because I was saying I was disagreeing when you was like a woman won't cheat if you're her best option. I'm like, okay, what about Will and Jada? You know what I'm saying? And the whole Sierra and Future situation.
Will's not her best option.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Let me make sure I clarify that. When she got with Will, she does not believe that Will was her best option. Then she thought Tupac was her best option.
Okay, cool.
She's refusing to accept where she is in life, but in her mind, she does not see Will as her best option. Now, if Will would put her in her place, she would change the way she thinks about him tomorrow. What she's doing is she's punking him and trying to bring Tupac out of him. And that's not who he is.
Okay. All right. That's why I was required to call in. I had a problem calling you, so I hit the zone. Here we are. I've been listening to you for years. I got a lot of respect for you. You know what I'm saying? You helped improve my life in many ways.
Well, I'm glad to hear
that. You took me from a loser, you know what I'm saying, to a winner. Thank you. Peace and black power.
Well, I hope we keep the trend going here. Ladies, if you banned him or whatever, you need to undo that. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me put him back in the waiting room. Oh, let me see here. I think we got a special guest on the line here. What's up, my man Jeff? What's happening, brother?
Hey, man. Let me, there we go. Hey, man. I was, as you can see, I made myself comfortable. I was just going to chill back here and enjoy the show from here. But, bruh, that last caller, if it's all right, I'd like to address her directly. Dear sister, congratulations. You found a faux pas. You found a slip in syntax. It does not 1 inch move the point. The point is that around the same time athletes retire, so should you from the my body is a big joker in the social game. Because, and for the same reasons, there is a reason that Dominique Wilkins does not play basketball. He's too damn old. There is a reason that you put on your sharpest outfit, walk in a room, and no one no longer gives a damn. For the same reason, you have used up your looks as social currency. And that's why these sisters are so mad. The fact that you are no longer a 10 should only matter to you if you was counting on how you look purely to catch a man. Anytime Gabrielle Sidibe got a man and you don't, that should tell you something about yourself, that it ain't just looks. It ain't just looks. How much do you think society has played a part in these women thinking that that's all it takes, Jason?
Well, and society in general is made up of the people in the media, so they certainly have been plenty of help. Let me clarify a couple of things, though. I didn't make a faux pas or slip of the tongue. What she's referring to is when I was asked about what's a 10. And I'm going to go down my list there. Pam Grier, Felicia Rashad. Felicia Rashad is always going to be my number one in that regard. Lena Horne, Pam Grier, Hallie, if you don't mind, I'm a bit on the slender side. And Nessa, starting with her face, is really going to be, she's never really had a tremendous body, but starting in the face. So if you ask me, what is a 10? Everybody knows I'm going to rattle off those names. Kendra Moore. If you ask me what's a 10, now, if your female is an equivalent of that, that's great. When everybody knows when they say a 10, I'm going to say Felicia Rashad's the top of the list. Now, Felicia Rashad is what, 70-something? 70 or something, right. 80? So, obviously, I'm not referring to Felicia Rashad today. If your female is the equivalent of Felicia Rashad, she's a 10. Yeah. If she's the equivalent of Nessa, Kaepernick got first with, sure, she's a 10. If nobody thought then on January, they asked me what is a 10. I told them those are my benchmarks for what's a 10. Yours might be different. You might have your own idea what's different. If you think Gabby Sidibe is a 10, we got a different issue. If you think that Pam Grier today, and I already did this program, Pam Grier today is a 20.
Yeah, you're trying to screw her for who she used to be? Yeah, no. I'm not there either, brother.
Yeah, I mean, are you putting a magazine cover on the head at the time? It's like, is that what we doing? No.
Yes, so, you need a time machine.
Right. If you want a frame of reference for what I'm referring to, because that's what she asked me before, so she can be as angry as she wants to be. The problem is, here's the problem, Anna. Felicia Rashad probably still looks better today at 70-something than you do today at 30-something. Wore out. So don't get too angry.
And did her thing. Here's the problem, Jason. When they were a 10, they did their thing. When you was a 10, your ass didn't. And that's why you on the sideline now. And you don't want to accept the fact that you are still playing in a game that you ought to be coaching. They still think, bro. Here's a song. I'll say this and I'll get out of your face. Here's a song that works against delusional black women. They play it every summer. It goes like this. Dun, 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 dun. Fresh batch. There's a fresh batch. Young women watching this show. Your snippy, tit for tat energy. Your oh yeah energy. Your grabbing shit out the air that ain't there. You know, every time you do that, you close your third eye. Grabbing shit out the air that ain't there. Energy is expensive because there are 2 million more of you before I do a sit-up or make another dollar counting all the niggas you don't like for all the very valid reasons that you don't like them. Number 2, there is no we dating out now. Look here. There is all these white men you talking about you gonna get to deal with you. They know right where you at because their system put you there. There is no European oil baron roaming the streets of your hood looking to do your breaks and take your kids out to eat. You're gonna have to deal with us, which first you're gonna have to deal with your raggedy ass. I'm done.
Jeff on the Flex, we appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much for tuning in with us here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 202. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from area code 202 is fighting with their crack pipes. Let them get back to that. Caller from area code 615. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me?
If you speak, we can hear you just fine. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Maya. I'm calling from East Tennessee.
Hello, Maya from East Tennessee. Where at in East Tennessee, Maya?
In a small town called Knoxville.
Knoxville, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I guess that'll be a small town.
That's exactly.
All right, what's on your mind?
Well, I don't know. I just want to get a better understanding of the topic in regards to black women. Of course, I'm a black woman. I hope I sound like a black woman. I'm in my 20s, and it seems like y'all want to try to make it seem like we age fast. I just feel like that's not the case. I feel like white women age extremely fast, but y'all try to project white women's aging cycle onto black women. Black women look good well into their 40s, well into their 50s, and which you have on your screen. So I'm just trying to find just please make it make sense for me on how black women are just
let's try something here. Let's try something here, Maya. Maya, you hear things just fine. Let's not do that, Maya. Maya, calm yourself down, Maya. You're very triggered, Maya. Calm yourself down. You're off your meds. Calm yourself down. There's no need for you to act psycho. Calm yourself. Get a hold of yourself. Try to anyway. Wrap your arms around yourself on both sides. Get a hold of yourself. You're really mega triggered. So clearly this applies to you and you're very, very butthurt. I can help you with that with some preparation H. You're too triggered. You're too triggered for this to not be bothering you. You yelling and screaming and trying to overtalk the host. You triggered as hell. Yes, this applies to you. Yes, it does. Okay, Maya, you asked a question. Now you're just triggered. Maya, you asked a question. Now you're just triggered and ranting. You can stop talking now. You're just rage talking now. Calm yourself. You just gone off on an explosion. You are just real triggered. Yeah, this applies to you and you're angry and sensitive. So let me explain to you where you messed up at, because you yelling and screaming against reality is not going to change it. So let's find out how you screwed yourself. Let's find out how you screwed yourself up in life, Maya. Maya, calm yourself down or I'm going to have to mute you because people don't want to hear you trying to yell over the host. So if you can't control yourself and your anger issues, I'm going to have to mute you. That's as simple as that. You're very angry. You're very belligerent, and that makes you look old, Maya. That's why you look old before your time. You're very angry and belligerent.
I look very good. You niggas are thirsty as fuck. Let's be honest.
You sound a good Maya. You sound a good size 8. Maya, you sound a good size 18 with 2 children. That's what you sound like.
So thirsty, old, and who's out of shape when y'all.
Okay, Maya is very angry and very triggered. This don't apply to me, but you're a size 18 from Knoxville, Tennessee. Niggas love me. You're from Knoxville, baby. You're from Knoxville. You need to put them kids to bed before you sit up here and try to flex, baby. You from Knoxville, Tennessee. Who you flexing on? Come on now. Them Biden base pipes, they must have hit ground in Knoxville. You saw she was ashamed to say where she was from. She was ashamed. I'm from East Tennessee. You scared to rep where you from? East Tennessee? Come on now. She was ashamed to say where she was from. I'm from East Tennessee. Where the hell they do that at? Is your WIC voucher going to bounce? Maya, what size do you wear, Maya? What size do you wear?
A fine size 9.
I don't. You're lying. You're lying.
Beautiful.
You're lying. Get on Zoom, Maya. Get on Zoom.
Zoom, bitch. I get on Zoom right now.
Zoom. I'll pay you. I'll pay you $25. You're lying. I'll pay you $25. Get on Zoom.
Okay, bet. Bitch, you ain't saying shit. I'll hang up right now.
Okay, go get on Zoom. We're gonna wait for Maya to get on Zoom then. In the meantime, let me get caller from area code 470. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, this is Michael from Atlanta.
Okay, these folks are fighting with their phones tonight. Take your phone off a speaker and speak into the phone. It's not that hard. Alexander Graham Bell did it over a century ago. Folks is fighting with today, cutting edge technology today. What's going on?
Hey, Jason, can you hear me?
What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, sorry. This is Michael from Atlanta. Sorry.
Michael from Atlanta, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with my phone. I actually had a call from your previous program there because I read something that said I think women are the main home buyers now among single people, and I was wondering, is that like a form of settling? Because I know you shouldn't really be buying a home like that if if you don't have like a family or any commitments like that, or unless you just have the money.
I mean, if you can't get a husband, you get a job. If you can't get a protector and provider, you buy a house. If you can't get a companion, you get a pet. That's the way it's always been. Now, what we used to see was that used to be the enclave of little old ladies. The little old ladies, if their husband died, they didn't want to get remarried because she's too damn old. She's a grandma or great grandmama. She goes and gets a dog to be around the house as a companion, and that's it. but she wasn't trying to replace the man she was with. Today, we got college students with dogs, college students, nursing students, law students with dogs and cats like a kennel. That's a problem. When you have young females projecting the behaviors and mannerisms of aged out old women, that's a problem. That's a big, huge problem. So yes, you're absolutely correct. And the problem is that today it is more difficult than it's ever been. It's more problematic than it's ever been. It's more of an issue than it's ever been. That's the issue that we're running into here. It's more of a problem than it's ever been. And that's the problem that we're seeing. So definitely those chicks there, they take on a mortgage. That's a 30-year obligation. There are marriages that don't last as long as a damn mortgage. I'm talking about from natural causes. I'm not even talking about from divorce. There are marriages that don't last as long as a mortgage. So when you consider that that's the case, it's like, okay, do you really want to make that your lifestyle? So think it over. Thank you very much for giving us a call. We have somebody on Zoom. What is your name? Okay, try again. We got somebody on Zoom. What is your name? If you can figure out how to get that Obama phone to get the audio working, do we need to give you a few minutes?
I'm sorry.
Okay, that's the immigrant gap. Where your people from?
Well, my mom was adopted, so I don't know. She was the one that was mixed with something.
Y'all, what is it about? No shade. What is it about the immigrants, particularly the ones from New York, that Puerto Rican gap, that Dominican gap? What is it? That's that immigrant gap. I mean, you can reach through and grab their damn tongues. What is going on? No hate, no shade. We got nothing but love for you. What's your name?
My name is Deanna Salacia.
Okay, well, Deanna, would that be short for Anna?
No.
Okay. Well, we had somebody who was on the phone and she said she was going to call in. I thought you were her.
Oh, no. I waited too late for my last one and I timed out. I didn't know I was going to be accepted that quick. Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. I don't have a call taker or anything like that. You go straight from calling in to talking to me. Welcome to the Thunderdome. We have cookies.
Good to be talking to you.
All right. What's on your mind?
Nothing. I watch your show all the time. I just think you're doing a great thing here. And you've given me a lot of education. You know, my mom died when I was 9 and my dad when I was 13 and my grandma when I was 15, you know, so shows like this really helped me put things into perspective, you know, so I appreciate it. I don't have any complaints or anything like that. I love what you're doing, you know.
How old are you?
I'm 30. I just turned 30 January.
Okay. You just turned 30 last month. So congratulations. Hopefully we got that straightened out for you there. You have any kids?
No.
No wonder you're not angry and bitter. See, Anna, if you were like this, you wouldn't be so angry and surly and bitter and mad at the world. See, it says something. Are you in school?
No, not yet. I'm going back to school, but that's just for simple business because my grandpa, before he died, he told me that he wanted me to at least do a business class, but I'm going for business and music.
Okay. See, y'all, if you want to avoid getting aged before your time, she's not sitting there in school. She might have a job, but she's not trying to handle both at the same time. Now, could you imagine what she would look like if she had school, a job, and a mortgage? Think about that for a few moments. She look about 50 years old now. She'd be 30 going on 50. I am not lying when I say this to you all. Well, thank you very much for tuning in here tonight, Deanna. I'm glad to make your acquaintance, and please do check in with us again. You're always welcome to. Yes, boy, she is too nice for that. I'm telling y'all. By the way, old girl has not called in yet. Big shout out here to Miss Stevens on PayPal and everyone else who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, Super Chat. Thank you very much for your support as well. So yeah, the little foul-mouthed Kentuckian, the foul-mouthed Tennessean, the foul-mouthed hood rat from East Tennessee. I'm calling you right up. She has not gotten on Zoom yet, by the way. She hasn't gotten on Zoom yet. That New Jack City mobile service that she's got ain't working. She's on that Sugar Hill broadband. It ain't working. Come on now, get your big size 18 self on Zoom so we can get this over with. Call America code 202. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, caller from 202 has been abducted. Caller from area code 301. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Gita.
Oh, Lord, Gita. Okay, Gita, where you calling from?
I'm calling from Burtonsville, Maryland.
All right, Gita, are you any relation to Gato, who called before?
No.
Okay, Gita, no, she's not Gato. All right, Gita is not Gato. What's on your mind, Gita?
Nothing much. I just love your show. It's so addicting. I always want to watch it, and I enjoy all what you have to say. I'm just excited to be on the line, and I don't think a woman's ever too old to go out there and be out there. It's how she feels and how she looks.
Okay, but you said I don't feel, and foul-mouthed Anna said the same thing. You said you don't feel. When you take a look at the world around you, what are the results that women over the age of 50 are getting that you see? Not what you feel and you hope. What are they actually showing you?
They could just change men. They just do what they want because...
Okay, are they getting men who are marrying them and making a commitment to them? And please understand, we can Google this in statistics, so don't make up anything. Let's not even play that game. Women over 50, they're not getting married. What you're referring to are men willing to lay up with them and be sex partners. You're not talking about a man making a commitment. Nobody said that you all can't get sex. You're going to be able to get sex for the rest of your life. Can you get a man who is committed to you, to producing for you, doing all the things for you outside of sex? How well can you do that over the age of 40?
I think you should be better at doing that because you should know what a man wants at that point in time. I'm 37, so...
Where's your husband?
And I'm ending a relationship. I have 3 kids.
Okay, you have 3 kids. Where's your husband?
We recently broke up. Domestic case.
No. I said husband.
Oh, he didn't want to marry me, so...
Okay, so in other words, you have 3 children, you've never had a husband.
That's right.
Right. So with all due respect, you're an expert at sexual access and the nuances of that. Not a commitment, not a long-term investment, not a man who's saying, I'm going to protect and provide for you for life. So your comparisons, these women can get back out there at 40 and 50. Yeah, they can get back out there and get sex. You all need to drill this in your heads. No one said you don't have sexual access. That's the problem, is all you can get after a certain point is the men who are willing to sleep with you.
Because I want a husband one day.
But, okay, I'm glad to hear that. First question, have you comported yourself as a wife in the previous 15 years?
Yes.
Why do you say that? If you wanted to have a husband, you've had 3 children with no husband. Does a wife do that?
I acted as a wife. I did everything as a wife.
Let me ask again. You have agreed to have 3 children with no husband. That didn't bother you. Does a wife do that? Does she have children without having a husband? Is that what a wife does?
No, not really. That wasn't a wise decision.
Okay, but no. Okay, can't do that. Let's back up. Brake pedal, back up. That wasn't a wise decision. Ma'am, it takes 9 months between conception and birth. You've done that 3 times. That's 27 months. That's over 2 years. That's not an incorrect decision. That's a lifestyle. How old were you when you had your first child?
22.
How old were you when you had your last child?
37. 36.
Ma'am, that's a 14-year distance. That's the majority. That's been almost the entirety of your adulthood. And at no time, have you treated your womb with the standards of a wife. but yet you're saying you want to be a wife and that you're wife material. And literally there's nothing that you've done with your vagina that a wife does. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Because I didn't know. I didn't listen. Now I know. Like, yeah, I didn't know better.
Right.
Every time I tried to leave, I had a kid with him. And
No. Every time I tried to leave, I had a kid with him. No, I wanted to keep having children with him. Drop that every time I wanted to leave. I chose because I desired to. I wanted that. I wanted to keep having children with this guy, even though he didn't marry me before the first child and I didn't require it. Now, this is called accountability. You didn't require a husband to get pregnant the first time. You didn't require a husband to get pregnant the second time. You didn't require a husband to get pregnant the third time over the course of 14 years. You never required that. So it's contradictory for you to say that you want to be a wife when literally the majority of your adulthood, you have had no regard for being a wife. Wouldn't it be better to say that you want what you believe and assume wife benefits would be, but in reality, you cool not being a wife? Because you don't go 14 years and 3 kids if you really want to be a wife. That's not what a woman who even wants to be a wife does. That's not what she does. So can we just level and just say that what you really want are what you idealize as the benefits that a wife would get, but that you don't actually want to have to live up to wife standards?
I do want to live up to wife standards now. Then I didn't, and I didn't display it. I didn't know any better.
Okay. How would you do that?
I'm sorry, how would I do that now?
Yes, how would you do that?
Now it's if I meet someone and we like each other, I would build a relationship. First I have to heal, and I would build a relationship outside of sex, beyond sex, and not based on sex.
How old are you now?
That I would want to marry some man to lead my 3 boys. I have 3 boys.
Okay, slow down. How old are you now?
37.
Okay, so you just had the last kid last year.
Yes, Noah. Mm-hmm.
So you're fresh off the maternity table. You have an infant. You just got finished having a 3rd child by this guy over the course of 14 years. And you're now saying, now I get it. And now I desire, you want a man who doesn't know you to make you a wife. Let me ask you the first question here that you need to be objective about. What is a man's incentive to make you his wife now?
I'm his helper, and I'm going to help him achieve and build and love and affection and all of the above.
Okay. What does a man want most in a female?
Companionship.
Wrong. Females want companionship. Try again.
Food.
Okay. Red Robin and Whole Foods take care of that. So try again.
Sex.
Okay. Well, if a man's got options, he can get sex anywhere else too.
True.
Now,
love.
Well, love is open to interpretation. My definition of love may not be your baby daddy's definition of love, may not be the next man you meet's definition of love. So let me make this easier for you.
So what does a man...
Now that you've run the gamut, it's like, whoa, I thought I had a... now you run the gamut. First and foremost, a man requires respect. That is the first thing that a man requires is respect. Now, let's be very clear about what respect is. There is no such thing as respect without an element of fear. And I don't mean an element of fear as in being in stark raving terror. I have to explain this every time. I mean fear like you would have of fire, fear like you would have of lightning, fear like you would have of sticking something metal in an electrical socket. You're not terrified of electricity. Otherwise, you wouldn't have electricity in your house. Do you have electricity in your house?
Of course I do, yes.
Are you scared of it?
No.
Okay, but do you just treat it any old kind of way?
No, I try to save money when I can.
Right, but I'm talking about how you use it. When you plug up devices and appliances, when you flip light switches, do you step out the shower sopping wet and start turning on radios and flipping light switches?
Of course
right.
not.
And here's the thing. That's not a rule that you made. And at no time are you able to sit down at the table somewhere and say, hey, I want the landlord or the mortgage company to bring electricity in here so me and electricity can negotiate about how it treats me. Electricity tells you these are the rules. And if you're going to have me in this house, you better do things the way I say to or else. But you don't get to negotiate electricity, just like you don't get to negotiate fire, just like you don't get to negotiate lightning. You respect it. You know that there are boundaries you do not push. You don't try it. You don't even attempt to try it. That's the price of having this incredible thing that does things that you can't do. A man, a competent, capable man, can do things that you can't do. So he is like, I've given this analogy before, he is like fire. He's like electricity. He can do things you simply can't. But you have to demonstrate to him that there are boundaries you ain't gonna push. And that is the price and the cost of having a competent man. Now, what good is it to have... Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to assume. Never met you, never seen you. You had 3 kids. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You've been putting cocoa butter on them stretch marks all for the last 14 years. I'm just going to assume you've been doing the Nicole Murphy thing. You've been doing your sit-ups after every single pregnancy. You've been eating nothing but whole grains and leaves, vegetables, and you've been putting cocoa butter on all your stretch marks all this time for 14 years without fail every single morning. Congratulations. So... technically speaking, she's in much the same condition, although a little bit worse for wear and weathered, a little bit of depreciation, slightly used. All right.
I'm skinny fat. I've got that mommy hang, so I don't have no good body like the women's you be showing on the video.
Did y'all hear that? I'm skinny fat. That's the twin sister of Big Boned. Where do they pick up these things? Where do they pick these damn things up from? Okay, the point I was making here is let's just assume that you are in pristine pre-baby condition even all this time later. Let's just assume that you are, okay? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and let's just assume that you are and flat abs are in effect. I'll go ahead and give that to you. Here's the issue. As a woman with 3 kids, how much time can you devote to this new man, the next man you're going to meet? After 14 years of giving this previous man your all, how much are you going to be able to give to the next man? Because you're going to be requiring much, much more of the next man that you meet than you did of this previous guy who you had 3 babies by.
I don't know. Not a lot of time.
Do. Okay, thank you. Okay, but here's the real question. Here's the real thing. You're going to give him much less than you gave the previous guy. And the previous fella is still going to be in the damn picture. So you're still going to have to give that guy time no matter what. So you're going to meet a brand new man and you're going to be giving him far less time than you gave the previous man while you're still giving the previous man time. But you're going to be requiring much more. You're going to be entitled and angry and resentful while you're giving him much less, but requiring much more of him than you ever required of the man before. You never required that of the guy you had 3 kids by, but for the next fella, you gonna drop a damn airplane hangar full of requirements on him. For children that are not his. For a body that has experienced an depreciation since she was 21 years old. So he's not getting not a single one of the benefits that your baby daddy got. Not a single one. But he's going to carry more of the load. And you're telling me that that's respect?
No. I now that you put it that way, I'm not going to do that to anyone.
Now,
no, that's wrong.
Now, when he was alive, Kevin Samuels would tell you all that you need to go back to your baby daddy. Well, I'm not going to necessarily say that, although I would say that would probably be the best of all options under ideal circumstances, though you probably wouldn't be here if they were ideal circumstances, so I don't deal in the world of make-believe. But what I am going to tell you is that in for a penny, in for a pound, you never made marriage a requirement. It is fantasy-based for you to come here now and say, I am now, after all this time, going to make marriage a requirement, because you're acting like we as men don't know where you've been. We see the 3 kids. We see where you've been. And you're acting as if we all just met you. We don't know anything. That's an insult to our intelligence. Don't treat us like we're ignorant little brain-damaged children. We're not. Nor are we a resource for you to exploit freely to patch up holes in your life. Treat us like we're men. And what that means is that you
kind of respectable men are not you're rare. You're a rarity. A lot of these guys will require more attention and then get mad at you because you're giving your kids more attention than them.
Well, it's not so much that you're giving your kids, you giving somebody else's kids more attention than him. Your baby daddy did not have a problem with that. Those kids, those stretch marks, that stretched skin, your lost time. He did that. So he's okay with it because he's gone through the natural process of life of experiencing this with you. With any other man, you're going to be dropping all this on him on day one, whether he likes it or not. That's
I'm
the problem.
Change that, Jason, because of you today.
I'm
not going to drop crap on him.
Okay.
Whoever he is.
Slow down. You need to accept reality here. Okay? Because here's the problem that we have. I'm going to give you all a brief reminder. You all know I love that TV show, Homicide: Life on the Streets. Andre Brower, he who loses control loses. There was an episode of a young kid. He was a juvenile. He thought when he was going to court that he was going to be sentenced as a juvenile. He got sentenced as an adult. And they said, Joe, you going to the pen. I think they gave him, 7 years, whatever it was. And Andre Brower was one of the cops on the TV show. And they're seeing the judge sentence this kid to prison. And when he walks by him, he says, yeah, things done got real for you now, haven't they? I can't help you anymore except to give you this piece of advice. Don't do nothing for when you get there, don't do nothing for nobody. Don't let nobody do nothing for you, and watch your back. And he walked out of the courtroom. You see, that kid, we could have raised him before he went off and shot them people. Now, dude, we past raising. At this point right now, you're going to deal with consequences. Young lady, we're past raising you. You almost 40 years old. Welcome to the world of consequences. If you want a valuable man, if you want a producer, if you want a competent man, listen to the next words I'm about to say very, very carefully. You're not at the top of anybody's list of desirability. You're going to have to get in where you fit in. Because you don't have any leverage anymore, and anyone who tells you that you do is lying straight to your face. You'll be listening to a chick who ain't got nothing, and she's going to look you square in your eye and lie to you because she doesn't want to accept where she is. So y'all are all holding hands while you go jumping off the damn bridge together. You don't have leverage anymore. You gave that to the baby daddy. If you do meet a fellow who's about something, you're going to have to fight hook and sink, throw hooks and blows and throw elbows to get him because you're going to have to compete at a level you never did before. You're going to have to compete at a level you never did before. But the alternative is the world.
Lioness.
Slow down.
I'm a lioness.
Slow down, lioness. You talking over the host. Let's not do that. If you want to, what you are also going to have to accept is that you don't have the ability to dictate to him who and what he should be. The only thing that you will be able to do is get the fellow who's built and hope it stays where it is. So if he is built and he is capable and he is willing, your list of demands stops right there. You try to push it any further and you are dead. You have no choices.
That's enough.
Jason, what if he wants a side chick? A baby mama don't get to argue with a fella about having side chicks. A baby mama is a side chick.
That sucks. No, I don't want to. No. Oh, man.
Ma'am, but you've been, okay, excuse me, but you've been living like a side chick for 14 years and it didn't bother you? 3 kids.
It did. It absolutely
Ma'am,
did.
you don't stay in something for 14 years that's bothering you.
Yes, and I kept trying to fight, but I would just give up and then look over it because I loved him and take the excuses. And actually, it's all come to a head. And he left after the 3rd kid. My kid ain't even 2 yet, so.
Okay, no, lie. He didn't leave after the 3rd kid, baby. He was never there, and you were okay with it. He was never your husband. He never made a commitment to you on paper. You were willing to give him your womb and everything else, and we don't know what else you've been doing behind closed doors. We're going to leave it at that, and that was fine. So this is what I mean. You're using all of these trick statements to try to soothe and comfort yourself as opposed to facing the brutal reality. That man was never yours, and you were willing to play along. For 14 years, you never required that he claim you. You never required that he claim you financially. You never required that he invest in you. You never required that he take possession. You never required that. And that's something that the woman gets before she gets married. You never got any of that. What does he do for a living?
He's an electrician.
She said that real meepish, y'all.
I mean, he's a gangster for real, but...
There you go.
Yeah.
So in other words...
But he wasn't working.
So in other words, all this time, some of his money might have been legal, but most of it ain't.
Right.
These young gals who went around with these fellas, it's exciting. Well, yeah, when you're making decisions based on animal lust and instincts, yeah, guys like that are sexually exciting. They are, quote, attractive, but they're not competent. Nor are they reliable. They sexually excite you and send your private parts to the moon. And they are a suicide pact. Because you then realize all that was happening between your ears. This guy was never that great to begin with. But now you have a permanent connection to him. And the reason why he did that was because that's how you handcuff young, dumb, naive females.
Yeah, I'm baby mama number 3, so
Ma'am,
I knew it. And
you talking about you wife material. You just had the last baby last year. He's got 2 other chicks he got kids by.
Yes, I'm the 3rd and last one. Yep.
Okay, you're not wife material. You're not wife.
Yeah,
you're not wife.
You're
no, you don't. No. You want wife benefits because taking care of all these kids is hard, but you don't want wife responsibilities. You want wife.
I don't mind feeding, clothing, helping, loving.
But you do mind being disciplined. You do mind sacrificing. You do mind having standards. You do mind that. And that's the most important part of being a wife. What she does not do. Any hoe can do everything in the phone book. A wife is judged by what she does not do. You see, the hoes are out here in the rat race, still acting like a dumbass, rummaging through the trash bin trying to find something. A wife grabs her damn chips, leaves the casino, makes a life with this man, and leaves that rat race behind. Let all them other birds sit out there in the parking lot of the cinema. You got your man, he's producing for you, we gone. Y'all sit over there and be by yourselves. Let me tell you right now, the most important thing you can have right now is a man who, if you need something, you call and you know for a fact, 100%, 1000% guaranteed, he's going to answer the phone. And if you throw a dollar figure at him, he might not be thrilled about it, but he got it. And he got you for it. Baby, that's a man for your ass. That's a man.
Amen.
Most of y'all are sitting up here having babies and y'all didn't even get that part solidified first. So that's why y'all are angry and anxious about females like Beyonce in her prime, because she could do that and snap her finger and dudes like, hey, we got you, before she didn't have to have sex with him, didn't have to have any kids with him. That's showing that a man is showing that he's committed. He gonna take care of that Visa and MasterCard bill regardless for your benefit. So that comes before you even get married. But you have to establish that level of value in him first. Ma'am, we are men. We are built for survival. We can see if you're wife material. We ain't got to marry you for that. We can see if you're wife material. The dude you was running around with, he was just trying to sit up here and knock up every dumb broad he could because he was handcuffing y'all. He ain't never going to do anything for you. He just wanted to make sure nobody else got you either. So you were very criminally immature and he is outrageously criminally immature. Now you done messed each other up, so you're dependent on him to produce and he can't do it. No good for child support. There's too many of y'all fighting for it. And by the way, legally speaking, there's an incentive for these dudes to get as many of you pregnant as he possibly can. Because when it comes to child support, the more of you, the more kids there are, the less he has to pay. If it's just one chick and one kid, like they do them in the NBA, you can go ahead and run the tables on them. But a lot of these fellas have figured out, hey, if I have a bunch of kids by these chicks, it actually means I gotta pay less. And you were number 3. So he's like, yeah, let me go ahead and have a few kids by this one. This neutralizes the first 2 chicks and this broad right here. And you got to understand, a fella who just has kids willy-nilly with chicks, they hate women. Let me be very, very clear. A fella who's just having kids willy-nilly, he hates women. He doesn't like women. He hates women, and that's his way of getting at you. I'm going to get you before you get me. Because his previous relationships haven't gone well. So just understand, guys who go off and go have a bunch of kids by a bunch of chicks, they hate those women. They hate women in general, and they don't like you. And you're just a means of punishing other people. And then one day you wake up and realize, I'll be damned, he really don't fool me like that. By the way, you're 38 years old right now. How old is he?
He's 10 years older than me. So he's 47.
Go. So you were 22 and he was 32.
Yes.
Where were your parents?
That my mom was like, oh my God, run. They were there.
So your mom said run. Your mom said run. You told your mama to eat a cucumber.
I told him I love him. I love him.
And then you found out love don't love nobody.
Right.
So you mean your mama was sitting there telling you don't, and you were saying, oh, I'm going to go through a late-term rebellion stage.
I've always been that way, according to her.
You mentioned your
Never
mother.
changed.
You mentioned your mother. You didn't mention your father. Where's your dad?
My stepfather, he said, why would you bring home someone bald? Because I was really attractive and I had a lot of suitors. So.
Someone bald?
Bald, and he had a belly and.
Oh, you mean your father could tell he was significantly older?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the damn problem right there. Okay, how old is your stepfather right now?
How old is my father? He's 65.
Well, he certainly was probably not happy to see a guy who was so obviously not youthful. And he probably figured out very, very quickly, yeah, this dude right here ain't right. This guy.
Yeah, and he had prior kids.
But he was 32 years old and balding with a belly at 32?
Yeah.
You sure he was only 32, baby? That don't sound right.
No, that's how he looked. That's how he looks to this day.
And that was the best you thought you could do at 22.
I don't know what it is. My mom says I'm stupid because his name is Guido and my name's Gita, and so we kind of rhyme with each other.
Lord.
So my mom says that's why I fell for him.
Fellas, if you don't stick in your daughter's lives, if you fellas don't stick in your daughter's lives, this is what will happen if you don't stick around in your daughter's lives. The block gonna get them. The block gon' get him. The block gon' get him.
Yeah.
I still blame your parents. I still blame.
As I get older.
Okay, slow down. I still blame your parents. I still blame your parents because your stepfather, and I'll tell you about these beta stepfathers. Your stepfather should have been on top of that. Your stepfather should have been on top of that. He's going to take responsibility for you in for a penny, in for a pound. He should have been on top of that. How long was he your stepfather?
Well, my mother demasculates my stepfather all the time.
Okay, there you go.
Do not really have.
There you go, y'all. Did I call it? Now, she didn't say that beforehand, but did I call it or did I call it? So there's only one way you could have ended up like
my
this.
mom demasculated my stepfather in front of me the whole time, and now my mom is always, now that the pandemic happened and they're both not working, they're kind of driving each other crazy. And so she says to me when we got in this, the father of my children, and when we got in this fight, she says, when are you going to leave him? I'm sure you're going to leave him when you're dead. And I said, no, Mom, I'm not going to be like you, because she's always complaining about her marriage now. So it was a lot. At one point my mom was saying, why are you going to leave him? Who's going to want you? Look at you. You have 3 kids, And so it was hard for me to leave because I want to have a happy family one day.
In the interest of time, I'm going to have to be a little more brief in the interest of time. But what I am going to say is that I want you all to understand what occurred there then. So the father is weak, and the father is weak. I didn't just say emasculated because he came to them like that. So the father is weak. And what does the stepdaughter go and do? By the way, how old were you when he became your stepfather?
I was 10.
Okay, so a 12-year stretch from the age of 10 to the age of 22. The stepfather is weak. So what does she go and choose for a male? And aesthetically, at least hyper masculine. He's hypersexualized. He's in the streets. So to a naive, unseasoned, untaught mentality and intellect, she goes and chooses the most hyper masculine thing that she can equate. Somebody the total opposite of her stepfather.
Precisely.
Now she's paying the price. Because Mr. Hypermasculine was often some garbage before he met you. Now you're in it too. Welcome to the quicksand. I am not going to tell you that there's nothing you can do, but I'm going to be like Andre Brower. I'm just going to level with you about the real of what you can do. You're going to have to get a fellow who fools with you for real. You will not be able to choose many of the attributes about him. You're going to have to go for what you need, not what you want. You just spent 14 years what you want. What you want screwed you up royally. You need to grow up and get what you need, not what you want. That little voice that goes in the back of your head talking about what you want, you better slap that heifer in the mouth. Don't ever again listen to that voice telling you what you want. From here on in, you got to get what you need. And right now, what you need to insist on is you're damn lucky if you can get a fellow who fools with you for real. That he is just into you for whatever damn reason he is. He's just into you and he's willing to be down for you regardless. Because right now you gave away your leverage to insist on marriage. That's a fantasy pipe dream. And furthermore, your behavior clearly shows you don't have respect for marriage. You want marriage benefits without wife responsibilities. So right now, you're going to have to fool with a fella and you're going to have to convince him that you are his best option for whatever position he puts you in to play. That's what it's going to be. I'll let somebody else lie to you. But somebody else will lie to you and tell you you got all kinds of options you don't. You got one kid right now who's 16 years old?
14.
Okay, one kid who's 14 years old. So this man's going to be coming in the door with somebody mean mugging him. With some 14-year-old boy mean mugging him. She done brought another one of these niggas home. You ain't my daddy. And that's the next thing I'm going to tell you about there. If you do actually get to marry one, marry, M-A-R-R-Y, marry one. Or if you have a fellow who actually fools with you for real and is willing to make you a companion, Whatever he defines that as, although I define that as he's taking some semblance of financial responsibility for you. He's taking care of a car. He's taking care of a house note. Not all together necessarily, though it's great if you can get all that together. Wow, you winning big.
Yeah.
You winning big. If that man lets your kids sit up here and their shadows fall on the chrome wheels on his G-Wagon, you in good shape. You in excellent shape.
Oh, geez.
You in excellent. If he comes over to your place and the other chick is calling and he don't answer the phone, you winning. You winning. Recognize when you, and she don't want to hear that. Yeah, your stepdaddy and your mama didn't tell you the truth. Ma'am, if you sitting on the couch and he lets the phone buzz while the other chick is calling, you winning. Don't ask no questions. You winning. He didn't excuse himself so he can call her. He didn't excuse himself to bed. Oh, hold on, baby, it's my mom on the phone. He didn't do that. You winning. Period. Let somebody else lie to you. 38 years old with 3 kids in this environment. And what city are you living in now?
Burtonsville, Maryland, Montgomery County, next to PG County, DMV area.
She all the way up there, so plenty of baby mamas. You got plenty of company. How they living?
Not happy. They just think that the perfect man is going to fall from the sky.
Y'all think the damn man fairy is going to drop off your load, and it's, baby, look here, competent men are rare. Single competent men are the most rare of all. And you didn't get that the first time around, so at this point right now, with 38 years old, the brutal reality is you're going to have to get in where you fit in. I'm not going to tell you got to go back to your baby daddy, but generally speaking, when you all get towards 40 years old, basically your best options are going to be in your Rolodex. Problem, you gave this guy the last 14 years, so unless you've been cheating on him on the side and entertaining somebody else, and that's not a good look either, because they don't fool with you for real. So if the Rolodex ain't working, I'm just going to tell you, look here, first thing smoking, that fools with you for real and doesn't treat your kids like roaches. First thing smoking, let these other chicks sit up here and lie to you. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You don't have leverage like that. Anybody else telling you that is lying. We got two generations of beta males now. No man is sitting at home right now making $150,000 dreaming to himself, damn, so do wish I could meet a 38-year-old with 3 kids. That's not what they're doing. So what you're going to have to accept is that circumstances have changed. You're either going to adapt to the environment or you'll continue fantasizing. Those are your choices. But right now, some of those, you have not demonstrated that you respect being a wife. Most men are going to consider it to be an insult if you tell them you want to be a wife. They're going to consider that an insult when they look, ain't you got 3 bastard kids? What is you saying? Don't tell him that.
Well, I shouldn't have to tell a man that I want to be a wife. They, like you said, they're going to see a wife and they're going to move accordingly. So I shouldn't have to ask any man that I want to be a wife.
Okay.
Like, it should just happen naturally.
I want you to check.
Older
well,
now.
what I want you to do is I want you to check back with me in 6 months.
Okay, I will, Jason.
I want you to check back with me in 6 months. I want to see how it goes.
Okay, that sounds good. Thanks again for all the love and everything else you spread.
Thank you very much for all your support. We appreciate that. Yeah, like I say, look here. For a lot of you ladies out here, y'all just gonna have to accept you belong to the game. You belong to the game. It is what it is. Stop fantasizing about what you cannot have. Why don't you triple down on what you actually can get? There's a lot of you who are going to go into mental and emotional wreck, and you don't have to be. Instead of fantasizing and fighting for what cannot be, make the adjustment and start tripling down on what actually can. Call from area code 267. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, yes, it's Tammy from Williamsport, PA. How you doing? And good evening, Jason Black. I think this is a wonderful broadcast you're doing. I noticed that there's a lot of the females who are trying to fight back, like you are saying, and I see it in the real world because, you know, I kind of got a debate with a sergeant, a female sergeant, who allowed a man to waste 10 years of her life, and she had to start all over again. And she was trying to tell the young girls, you know, you can start over again anytime you want to. And she did find a guy, but he looked kind of lame. I'm not sure of the quality of the man. I know that she did have her kids late, and, you know, it's good that she did start over again. But I think it's wrong that she's telling younger females that they can have any man, anytime.
Yeah, that's a disastrous, dangerous thing to do. And the reason it is because they think they're being merciful. Let's be very clear about what they tell themselves. The people who go around disseminating these lies so freely to females today, who they know have train wrecked themselves, they say it because they think they're being merciful. Well, they can't handle you telling them the truth. You're going to kill you're going to take away the hope from them. No, I'm going to give them hope for what they can actually get. You're the one killing them. You're the one hurting them, telling them something that you know is absolutely a lie. You're the one hurting them. They need somebody to do something that's never been done for them before. Somebody to sit down, look them in the eye and say, look here, you ain't got nothing I want. I don't want your money. I don't want your sex. I don't want your name. I can level with you and tell you the truth straight out because I don't want anything from you. And then let me give you the real. Right. Oh, I do want something, but it's not from you. And then I explain to you why I don't want it from you. And then let it be what it's going to be. And then from there, you can start making moves. We can say, okay, let's discuss what you can get. Because you see, for men, if we can't perform athletically, people don't lie to us. They tell us, nigga, you ain't going to be no basketball player. You're not talented. You can't get it. If we don't have the academic aptitude, you're not going to be Neil deGrasse Tyson. You're not going to be an astrophysicist. You can't make it. If we can't rap, if you can't sing, hey man, your voice sucks. You're not gonna have a music career. Nobody sits up here and says, oh, well, you just keep trying. You 45 years old. Well, you know, look, Jay-Z is over 45. You could get a record deal. Nobody treats men that way. So lying to women like that, that's not mercy. That is the most evil, vicious type of cruelty. They can handle the truth. Yes, they can handle it because they know the mess they got themselves into. They can handle the truth. What they need are people who are actually going to give it to them. I'll give you the last word.
Right. Yeah, and also I noticed this one particular woman, she's overweight and belligerent, and I feel like she has like venom. So I also feel like she's the wrong person to even you know, speak on anything, even though she has a husband. You know, this particular woman, like, her whole aura is wrong. And the only people who would lie, you were saying that nobody lied to men. Actually, yes, they do. They're single mother, because I have seen it. You know, but you know, I have this debate, and how do you combat like a lot of these females who are just sitting up there? Because, you know, I feel like I'm about to get in a fight. Because like I see this all the time, and I actually almost got into it with a group of females because they were.
Caller Miracle 202, you're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, 202 from The Business is still playing with the crack pipe. Caller from area code 405, you're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, Al from Oklahoma City.
All right, Al from Oklahoma City, what's on your mind?
Hey, man, another on-point program tonight. Yeah, again, a lot of these young ladies, you may coin this later, but they hurt in the skirt. The ones that they call the big girls. They got a dude that's locked up, that's waiting on them. Again, they want to work so much, so you got a lot of them dudes that's going to run some game on them. They got a release date. And so, yeah, them size 18s, they can cook real good. You know, them guys, they used to 3 hots in a cot. You know what I'm saying? So they going to have something for them when they get out. Yeah, it's just tax season, too. Oh, man, this is a perfect little program that you put on tonight. Because, again, Again, girls or women like that, excuse me. Again, they really feel like that because dudes are still pumping children into them in their late 30s. They really feel like, I don't know, do they think that, does vagina get better over time?
No, like I said, what you have is a culture of sitting around lying to each other.
It's not going to get better over time.
Well, they have a culture of sitting around lying to each other, and now it's become the culture that you're expected to wink, wink, lie to each other because they believe that by upholding this lie, it's like the mafia. They got each other's backs. So anywhere the men go, they're going to run into this stone wall of deceit. And the women are all on code and locking arms and we're ready for you if you try to demand anything. So it's basically become this cultural phenomena like a cult. The problem is you've come to a point now where it's come to a head. Too many men are hip to the game and you can't force the men to acquiesce to what the cult teaches. The cult is teaching this is how men are going to respond. But when you get out here in the real world, that's not what the men are responding to. So you end up having to double back to the cult of the females. So they wind up spending more and more and more time isolated with each other and preaching the sermon to each other, but never actually coming out here and acquiring what the cult told them they could get. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me go ahead and see if we can get a call here from area code 404. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, my name is Crystal from Miami.
Okay, this sounds real muddled. Try again.
Hello, my name is Crystal from Miami.
Okay, Crystal from Miami. What's on your mind?
So I was calling because 60 seconds, but I just had like an epiphany from one of the callers. When you have to excuse me because I'm a little shaky and shy, but when she said that she's not going to ask a man to marry her, I can kind of relate because when I was in my 20s, I just never was told to ask a man to marry me or have that conversation with a man.
Oh, nobody said that she was going to ask. And let's be clear. Let's not confuse that. A lot of confusion going on with statements here now. I don't know where this is coming from. But nobody said that she was going to propose to a man. That wasn't it. The real thing is whether or not she appeals to men in a manner in which the men would be encouraged or desirous
10 seconds
to ask her to marry them. So no, we were not saying that she needs to ask to be married. It's whether or not she's the kind of female that men feel attracted to and drawn to marry. And you can't force that on men. You can't force men to take on the responsibility of marriage to you. There's nothing you can do that forces that. Either you got it and he's willing to accept it, or you're not. It's really that simple.
Okay.
Because you're asking him to take on a lifetime of responsibility. Let me find out here. How old are you?
34.
Do you have any children?
No.
Okay, you're 34 years old. You have no children. You do realize that a man is taking on a whole lot more responsibility and risk than you are, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Explain to me why you think that is.
Because the man is expected to do more, like protect me with like his life and be financially able to take care of me and our children.
Well, now here's a young lady who has been listening to me. Things that were not articulated over the past few years with this high value discussion to make sure it's encapsulated. Yes, beyond just his money, you're expecting a man. You expect him that if you are in danger, he is going to be willing to lay down his life, not put his life on the line, but if need be, he's going to lay down his life for you, and that you would never really be asked to do the same thing for him. So that's a lot. Unless a guy just has a death wish, that's a lot to ask. So if he's going to take on that responsibility, What he wants to know is, okay, so if I've been spending my whole life building myself up to the best version of myself and to take on all these responsibilities and be an extraordinary man, and I got to lay down my life for you, what are you giving me in return that is the equivalent of my life? Because you're going to get to keep living. What are you giving me in return that's the equivalent of that? And you got to take a look at what you're bringing to the table and ask yourself, is this the equivalent of what I'm asking from him? Now, the majority of females, y'all ain't stupid. You know you're not bringing that. That's not what you're bringing. You know you're bringing insufficient funds. You know it. You know that. So there's where the problem comes in.
I'm sorry, you said bringing. It's going in and out. You said you're bringing what?
Insufficient funds.
Oh, okay.
You know you're not bringing anything that is the equivalent of his life.
Will children be that?
No, it actually wouldn't be, because in the chat room, Bella is showing her naivete and ignorance there. She's trying so hard. This leads to other issues. I warned fellas about Bella. I warned them about her. So, by the way, this would explain a few things, wouldn't it, Bella? This would explain a few things. A woman doesn't risk her life having a baby. She can go to, that's why we have prenatal treatments and prenatal preparation. She can go to Lamaze classes. She doesn't just walk up to a Circle K one night and she's 9 months pregnant going into labor. Nobody prepares you for a situation where the thugs are standing there at the street corner or trying to carjack you or break in the house. Your ex-boyfriend is showing up on a random Thanksgiving. Nobody prepares you for that. It's go time. As a woman, you plan a pregnancy. You mentally and emotionally and physically prepare. You have doctors who do sonograms and make sure everything's okay. Now, the equivalent of that for a man would be if we could have the assailant, we say, okay, this is the guy who's going to try to rob you in 9 months from now. This is where he works. This is his name. This is what he look like. This is what he drives. Like, well, hell, if he actually succeeds in robbing me 9 months from now, I deserve to get that. I deserve to get that. So that would be the equivalent for a man. Is if somebody could just sit there and tell us for 9 months what's going to happen and make sure that we've been to the gun range and make sure we know where the person is. That would be the equivalent. Is if you could have 9 months of preparation and know the exact time and person and date and location. Yeah, that would be the exact same thing. No, a woman giving birth, y'all got the ability to prepare. That isn't random. That's chosen. And you have months, not hours, months. A man defending your life, you like, hey, if it pop off at 11:55 on a random Tuesday, you're expecting him to make like Bruce Willis. Big difference. There is no equivalent. None. None.
Just, can I say this? As a child, I've always been, I don't even know where I got this from, but I've always been scared to like give birth because of death. I don't know if I seen it in a movie or whatever when I was a child, but I've always carried that fear. It's weird. I don't know if other women feel that way, but
okay, well, maybe, okay, here's the thing. Maybe childbearing isn't for you if you have a phobia about it. Because here's something else you're going to have to keep in mind. Men are not going to beg you to have their child. The ones who do.
It's not that I don't want it, but I'm
explaining here. I'm explaining here. Men are not going to beg you to have their child. The ones who do, you don't even want. So you're bringing up a subject that really doesn't apply. So if you're worried about having children, well, you know what? That's probably going to preclude you from having marriage and husband either, because why would a man marry you if you're not going to have children? There's no reason to bond himself to you legally if he's not bonding himself to you biologically. There's no reason for him to take on that obligation. So if y'all are not going to have children, you don't have to worry about a husband anyway. And you just keep trucking along like you are right now. But men are not going to beg you to have their kid. So that's one thing you don't have to worry about. They're not going to beg you for that. And the ones who do, you don't want them. But men who have any worth or value or substance, he's not going to sit there and argue with you and beg you to have a kid. If you don't want to have one, there's another chick out here there. Her plumbing works just fine.
Okay. I'm not afraid to have a child, but I was just saying, I don't know where that came from.
Okay, you literally just said, I'm afraid to have given birth. I don't know why. Ever since I was a kid, I've always been scared to have birth. You literally just said that.
Well, I must have missaid that. I'm sorry. I'm not afraid to give birth. I want to have kids.
Now that I told her there's no reason to marry you without kids. Oh, I want to have kids now. Okay, well, that changed quickly. Jason Black, changing hearts, changing lives. I'm doing pretty good tonight. I'll let you have the last word.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Boy, she hung up the phone quick when I said that. Thank you, Jason. Bye. Click. I'm about to say she didn't think it over. I don't want to have no kids. Okay, there's no reason. Trust me, no man's going to beg you, and there's no reason for him to marry you. Oh, I want to have kids, though. Really? Okay. I'm ready for them kids now, Jason. Oh, seriously? That was quick. That was a quick-ass turnaround. Caller from area code 213. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. My name is Kelly from San Francisco.
Okay, if I get one more person in the damn restroom, take your phone off a speaker, people. Come on.
Hi, I'm not on speaker.
She is calling me from the cathedral. Will you pick up your phone, please?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, you are reverberating badly, ma'am. I'm going to try this one more time. Take your phone off a speaker, take it off a Bluetooth, whatever it is. You are obviously not talking into your phone directly.
Is this better?
Yes, ma'am. That's amazing how that works. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Kelly. I'm calling from San Francisco.
Kelly from San Francisco. And where is that accent from?
It is Nigerian.
All right. Kelly the Nigerian from San Francisco. What's on your mind?
Jason, I really want to thank you for your broadcast. I am actually 27, married, cast my chips with a baby. I just really thought to call in today to maybe speak to some of the other girls in their 20s. Hear me out. Please get you a husband. Stop, waiting till you're in your mid-30s, early 40s. There's nothing out there for you. Even trying to get a husband in your early 20s at a size 6, it's not easy. So it's best you get on it as early as possible.
I would recommend it, but, don't be desperate, because nothing is worse than when you reek of desperation. But if you're a woman who's prepared, you don't have to be desperate. But we don't have a bunch of women out here of older age to be able to prepare the young ones, because the older women are out here trying to figure out how they can throw blows and elbows with the younger chicks. That's the crazy part. The women who have already aged out of the game and they're no longer eligible, they hating on the younger females and trying to figure out how they can throw elbows with them. That's the insane part of it. Lisa Ray is so delusional that she still thinks she's in the field and in the game. Lisa Ray is still talking about she wants a man who's going to pay all of her bills at 56. She's waiting for her AARP card and talking about a man going to pay her bills. She still thinks she's delusional, but because she's fooling herself, she ain't fooling the rest of us. She still thinks she's in the game. Stacy Dash still thinks she's in the game. Mary J. Blige is still talking like she's on the field and in the game. And it's embarrassing.
Yes, that's the very strange part of it. I know there's cultural difference here. In Nigeria, women in their 40s, 50s, that's my mother's age, they are on top of it, training you from when you are 8, 9. Women from my culture, where most of you actually originally probably came from, their life goal is to get married, and they are raised from a very young age. So I guess there's a cultural difference. Yeah.
Well, definitely. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 330. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason. It's Aaliyah. Calling from Akron, Ohio. How you doing?
Aaliyah from Akron. What's on your mind?
So I heard one of the callers earlier, just like basically being an example for why like a lot of us, like I'm 25, a lot of us are confused because we don't have a lot of like female mentors that can tell us the truth. Like for example, myself, my father just passed away, and like recently I've been trying to stick to a diet and exercise, lose weight. And through that, I've lost a lot of girlfriends because they kind of think that like I'm doing too much. Like, okay, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to do all these things for a man. And I guess it's just like, how do you navigate a situation like that when, you're literally like, you have people in your family, your friends groups, and they're all saying like, you're crazy. You don't have to do all of that just to get a man. Like, because I'm noticing more than ever, it's like everyone wants to lie to Black women and say like, you're fine. You can keep on with the weave. Why don't you ever get your hair done? Or why don't you ever do this? Like, it kind of gets to a point where it's like the only time I can find people with like mindsets like yours are online.
Well, if that's the only place you can find that, then that's where I recommend that you be. Because if you surround yourself with losers, especially ones that are on the wrong track, that's not good. You have to divest yourself of them. This is like me as a Black male. I can't keep a bunch of dudes around me saying, hey, $50,000 a year is cool. I can't be around them. I mean, I can make that decision, but just understand it's going to be a rough, hard, ugly life. So you're going to have to make value judgments of the people you have around you. Either they're empowering you or they're not. And you have to be able to distinguish the difference. If you can't, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. But this is something else I want to tell you all. Once you become an adult, these ain't supposed to be struggles you have anymore. Once you become an adult, you're responsible for what you do. But guess what? You're also responsible for the people you have around you. You are responsible for the people that you allow into your presence. That's the whole point of your parents raising you to be an adult, is so that you can make value judgments on what people should even be allowed to breathe the air around you. You're not supposed to be sitting there struggling with that. You're never supposed to be so desperate to have company that you got people around you who are dragging you down. Well, Jason, how do you deal with that? First and foremost, it's very simple calculus. Take a look at them, take a look at their lives, and ask yourself, is that where I want to be? Because obviously these people are experts at getting themselves to where they are currently in life. Take a look at where they are. If they are where you want to be, stick with them, mentor under them, listen to every word they got to say. If they're not, man, if you don't dump them on the curbside for pickup. An adult is supposed to become an expert at the art of get out of my face. And you don't have to be rude about it. We just stop returning phone calls. If you know these chicks ain't going nowhere, if you know they're not going where you want to be, if you know that they're really only specializing in wasting their lives, you're supposed to have the sense that God gave a goose to say, yeah, I'm hanging with different people, even if that means I only hang with this group online. It would be better to do that and spend your offline time with yourself, improving yourself, than to stick around with them feeding all this negative feedback into your head.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think that the part about like cutting my friends off isn't really that hard. I think it's just like, to be honest, my mom and I, we haven't been
There you
eye to
go.
eye because a lot.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so
She doesn't have a social.
you know-
What she's saying is she doesn't have a social circle. That's what she's saying. She doesn't get along with her mom. She ain't really cool with her siblings like that, and the females around her are poisonous. Brother Neely Fuller taught us about that. He's taught us about that for years, where his premise is that, for example, black folks shouldn't even be around each other. And I don't want to restrict that to just black people, because people shouldn't be around each other, period. You want to see a mess jump off, let a bunch of folks be around each other just goofing off. But speaking specifically to us as black people, the black people shouldn't even be around each other unless there's an agenda. Because otherwise the environment is poisonous. And history and time has proven it out. If there is no agenda at work, why is this person around you? If you can't clearly explain why you picked up the phone when they called today, and it can't just be they're a friend of yours. No, you need to know what's going on. I don't answer the phone, for example. Don't call me if the only people who call me are people I've asked to call me and they know what the agenda is. They're calling me because I approached them with an agenda. They have called me. I'm going to answer the phone because they're calling me with the agenda. But as far as just chit-chatting and whatnot, oh, no. I'm not going to sit down and trade life philosophies with somebody who isn't where I want to be. If you don't have an agenda for us talking, I'm going to keep it short. And if you're not where you are in life with philosophy where I want to be, we're not even going to discuss it. I don't need to take advice from somebody who isn't where I want to be. Now, you need to master that part of adulthood that says, yeah, my most valuable resource is my time. Literally everything else in this life you can get more of except time. You can't get more of that.
Right. I'm 25.
Yeah,
I don't want to waste.
Yeah, but right now, every minute that you waste with somebody that you know, doesn't have any mastery, can't contribute, every minute that you spend with them, you're making a decision to sacrifice that. Do you realize that? Every minute that you spend sitting there with somebody who isn't where you want to be in your ear, you're sacrificing the time right there. But worse than sacrificing the time, every time you let them talk to you, you are letting them very subtly, S-U-B-T-L-Y, subtly convince you and coerce you and mold you and influence you into being more like them. Every time somebody who isn't where you want to be in life says something and then you say, well, I can understand that. I agree with that. They are very subtly influencing you to become like them. And being,
yeah, they are.
Okay, but being 25%, but being 25% of a failure isn't better than being 50% of one. Well, I only let 25% of them rub off on me. Okay, well, you might as well let 50% rub off on me. There's no margin for error. So you are going, here's what you're missing. You're missing a purpose. You're going to have that. And if going to the gym is a fantastic way to solidify purpose, you can at least start with yourself. And if other people are not on your agenda, then you let that go. But what you don't do is sit up here and be on the right track and then let somebody sit up here and start arguing with you over it. Now, that's what you don't do. If you are this, and I'm going to say this straight out, morally weak at this point where people are saying things you know are not true and you're still giving them an audience, you're never going to get anywhere in life. People are going to be derailing you for the rest of your life. The rest of your days, you're going to be derailed. You're an adult now. I'm very sorry about your father passing, but I'm sure he taught you this much. The whole reason of raising you so you get to a point where, hey, you cutting folk off if they're not positively contributing. You're smart enough now to know, to have the common sense to recognize when somebody is contributing and when somebody isn't. And if you know, hey, Jason, they're not positively contributing, ma'am, this ain't even a question. This isn't even a question of what to do.
That's really true.
Well, Jason, what should I do? Keep the circle small.
Sensitive about it.
Okay, no, what you're not used to is having a small circle. You're not used to that. You're not used to having a small circle. And by a small circle, I'm talking about like 2 people. Jason, how you make a circle out of 2 people? It's going to be a small circle. I meant small. You're going to have to get used to having
the
a
only person
small
that's talking
circle.
to me is my brother. He's the only
Okay,
one.
it's better. Okay, but it's better to have one person talking to you who's positively contributing than to have access to 100 people who are destructive. That's the whole point. You failed as an adult if you can't master this part. The quality of the people that a woman has around her, that's the single most important decision she's going to make. Nothing else supersedes that. You are pursuing getting a protector and provider, a producer. You want a top quality male. You damn right. Now, if you were going to school, here's the crazy part. If you were pursuing a degree, and I covered this last week on our program here last week about what settling looks like. You all should go and review that program if you haven't. If you were pursuing a degree, they wouldn't be talking to you like this. They would be okay with you losing sleep. They'd be okay with you racking up tons of debt. They'd be okay with you giving up relationships. They would be okay with you suffering to get a degree. They would be encouraging you to. So you're supposed to put your all into a degree so you can get a job in modern day America, where we know full damn well your degree is, the company doesn't give a damn about you or your degree. So, but you're supposed to sacrifice and bleed and invest yourself and give your all and sell your soul to that, as opposed to a man who will lay down his life for you. And you listening to them. Baby, you better take a look at these folks and ask yourself, is that where I want to be? That's what all you need to ask yourself is look at them, and before you listen to their advice, by the way, is that where I want to be?
No.
Then this question answers itself and this solution presents itself. It's time for you to learn it's time for you to learn to have activities that you do by yourself, because, by the way, if your free time was actually built with activities that build yourself up, you wouldn't have time to associate with, first of all, you wouldn't have time to associate with people in general. That's first of all. If you were pursuing, a vocation, if you were pursuing going to the gym like you're supposed to, like our girl Shay here, I mean, she does that all the time. You know what? She also keeps a clear head for it. I'll give the young lady that. She keeps a clear head for it. You know why? She's okay not being around other people. She's okay just sitting at the gym and working on herself and being all right with that. Or watching what she eats while she's at home and being all right with that. That's what's missing for you, is a place to focus your energies so that you are improving yourself, so that you ain't worried about whether or not you sitting around chit-chatting with people. I've been an entrepreneur on and off since I was 17 years old. I've got literally zero people. I have some people I still know from that time, but not really that I would count as friends. I've got like 2 people in this world right now I would call my friends. And that's it.
Yeah. Well, my dad said before he passed, like, it's not all about friendship at this point. Like, you need to worry about finding a man to settle down with. And I'm like, you're absolutely right, And the last time that we talked, I did explain to you, like, I have to start, focusing on the look that I have and, working on that. It's just putting my feelings aside and, like, not caring about what my mom has to say, what my friends have to say, and maybe even moving away from here, because, like, I feel lonely. So, well,
that's a good thing too, because you need to become a person where loneliness doesn't break you. Now, you don't want to be this recluse who becomes antisocial. You don't want that to happen either. But you don't want to become somebody who can't distinguish between the people who are positively contributing to your life and don't. Bunch of struggle broads out here become experts at gathering people who don't contribute to their lives, and they're sitting there and whatnot. They got their dogs and their goldfish and their houseplants. You don't want to become that loser. But by the same token, you also need to be a person who is okay with moments and periods. Listen to me carefully, Aaliyah. Moments and periods of solitude. You need to have balance in your life. The Bible says it, and it's true. There's a time to have people around you, and then there's a time to not. And you need to have balance. That you're okay when you have people around you, but you don't rely on it. And you're okay being by yourself, but you're not this antisocial jackass that nobody wants to be around. And I'm not talking about if you got kids or something like that, that's loser talk to. I'm talking about the other adults choose and say, hey, I would give everything for you. You want to be that kind of person, but focusing on yourself and making yourself the best version of you is how you get there. And that's what you're focused on now. What you're also illustrating here tonight is that women are poisonous to each other today. It would be nice if women were helpful to each other, but women are absolutely, they are rat poison to each other today. Most women are losers. You know why? Because most women today are overweight, which is a expression of their underlying symptoms of their problem. And you're a person who's trying to nip it in the bud. And meanwhile, the underlying, that being overweight is actually an expression of the inner turmoil in them. And you're like, hey, let me fix that. No, now you're surrounded by vampires who want you to be like them. And they see you focusing on that because they understand. Let's be very, very clear, especially at your age. They understand if you get yourself together, you could take anything they got. Their job, their man alone. They're not going to encourage you to outcompete them. And that's bad too. If all of your female acquaintances, none of them want you to be better than them, that's a problem. That's a problem. Right now, I've got two fellas. I can name two guys. I ain't going to name them. There are two guys right now who started listening to me a decade ago. They make more money than me. One of them is much more well-known than me. I ain't going to say nothing. Can I get away with saying that? It's a decade later. You want to talk about my legacy? I got two guys who make more than me. One of them is more well-known than me. And they would call you and they would call up here if I allowed them to and say that. I'm not going to let them because it would mess up what they're doing. But let me tell you, and I'm not the least bit envious. I'm like LL Cool J when he helped FUBU blow up. I'm proud of that. I'm glad about that. I got no problem with that. It's like, hey, bro, I hope you make 100 times what I have. What the hell? I don't want there to be any limits. Man, go be Black Bill Gates. Do the damn thing. Do the damn thing. Now, I haven't let my girlfriends ever meet him. It's not because I'm scared. It's just, it just never came together like that. Because they're more busy than they've ever been, which I warned them was going to happen. And that's cool. That's all right. That's okay. But I'm not sitting around telling them what they don't have to do. I told them, you're going to lose women. You're going to lose family members. Doing this is going to cost you, man. But I never told them that doing what was best for them was what they needed to give up. You're going to look back on this and you'll be wishing you had. I would rather you do this and suffer those other things and know how far you could go than to sit up here and tell you don't do that when I know you got the ability to do it. These women know you have the ability to do it and try to talk you out of it. That's called hate. That's called hate. When they don't want to see you doing better because they're scared of what you could do in their lives. You know what? Maybe you don't need your man. But then again, Aaliyah probably doesn't even want him. But they're scared of what you could do. Furthermore, they're afraid of how they would look standing next to you. Because they know that everybody will be looking at you and then look at them and realize they're the oddballs out. And they'd be like, well, we damn, take a look at Aaliyah. How the hell the rest of y'all wound up messed up in the game like this? They don't want that. They want all of y'all to match. They don't want any of you to mix. And you need to recognize that you have apparently become very well at aggregating a group and collecting a group of vipers around you. You need to cut that off. If they don't want to see you do well, that's it. We done talking. And your day needs to be 23 hours of focusing on yourself and improving yourself so that you can be of the highest quality and benefit, not just to a man, but to everyone you meet, including the man that you want to commit yourself to. But you got to practice that now. So practice being a credit and an asset to everyone. And then you ain't got to work or fight to be an asset to him because that's already what you are. Don't pretend to be that. Become it. Because a man who is valuable everywhere. A man who is valuable everywhere. I'm not, you're not just valuable to the people you do business with. You're valuable to the people you do business with. You're valuable to the people at the restaurant you visit. You're valuable to your relatives. You're valuable to your friends. You're valuable to strangers. When people ask you questions, you're valuable to everybody. Well, guess what? As a woman, you want to be valuable to everyone. And by making it your lifestyle to be valuable to everyone, it'll be no problem to be valuable to him, because he's going to see how valuable you are to everybody else. He's going to say, hey, that's the one. Take a look at her. That's the one right there. Everybody wants to see her. Everybody wants to meet her. She's cool. That's the one. Hey, come here, shawty. You right there. That's it. You. That's how you make it undeniable. Yeah, you don't have to fight for a husband. They know a wife when they see one.
I can't thank you enough, because I don't think that there's any other like channels out here or broadcasts or anything that lights a match compared to the information that you give out. So, and just the honesty. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Please do give us a call again. Yeah, man, like I say, I mean, you dedicate to yourself and build yourself. A lot of folks out here, y'all got, man, look here. A lot of y'all's family is poisonous, man. A lot of y'all's families out here are poisonous. They're deadly poisonous. They don't mean you any good whatsoever. Most of you young ladies, not some, most of you young ladies, y'all's mamas are envious as hell. You know why? Because she's looking at you and all she sees is the 20-year-old version of herself who ain't made the same mistakes yet. You got a clean slate and she's not happy for you. She's envious and jealous. She doesn't want to see you win. She's envious of you. She's jealous of you. Messed up your homecoming, messed up your prom, messed up your graduation from college, done messed up your new job promotion, done messed up every damn thing. I'm telling you, done wrecked y'all from early ages. You can't tell envious, and I know in abusive types of situations like that, I know how that dynamic works, man. Look here, that's poison. You got to cut that off. There's a bunch of you females listening to me right now, and your mothers, your aunties, your sisters are poisonous. They grew up in the same environment as you, but by some fluke, you were able to get around that. By some fluke, it didn't handcuff you and shackle you, and now they hate you for it. Why ain't you losing like us? Why ain't you losing like us? Let me go ahead and lay down the real for you. One time. A couple years ago, gotta go to the car dealership and go pick up something rolling on some oversized wheels. Called one of my longtime associates, told him, hey, can you come help me get this thing about this lot? Man, don't you know he said you doing too much? I'm not telling you somebody else's life, I'm telling you mine. Don't you know he said you doing too much? He literally asked me, why do you need that? I'm not telling you what somebody else told me. I'm telling you what I lived. He literally said, why do you need that? Don't you know I dropped that nigga right then? Looking at something that he doesn't have, and if he had listened to me, he would already have that. But I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not immune to that. This ain't never going to end. As long as you walk in this earth, this is going to be what it's going to be. I'm not immune from it any more than the rest of you. Any more than the rest of you. I'm not immune. None of you are, none of you will be. Envy. Envy is a hell of a thing. So I'm just telling you right now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you. Look here, some of y'all going to have to cut off your friends, your family, long-term associates. You're going to, something going to happen and they're going to show what it is. And you're going to have a choice to make, whether you let them stay where they are and continue to poison the well, or whether you say, you know what, you ain't poisoning this. You ain't going to do that. I'm not doing nothing illegal. And I didn't even say you got to be happy for me, but you ain't going to hate on me. You might not have to be happy for me, but you ain't gonna hate on me. Not when I'm doing the right thing. So you don't want to step your game up, so you're gonna try to impact what I'm doing. Just understand, you're demonstrating how you ended up where you are, how I ended up where I am. Man, that's the circle of life. Some of y'all had friends of y'all's in elementary school, high school. Man, y'all wasn't going to the same damn place. They showed you why it is they couldn't make it where you are. They showed you why they couldn't make it where you are. And as you introduce new people into your life, it's going to be a cycle. Some of them going to get churned out. Some of them ain't going to make the cut. And you're going to have to be okay with that, because the alternative is allowing someone who is jealous and envious, who doesn't want to change the way that they are and wants to exploit you, and leaving them in close circumference to you in a destructive, parasitic relationship. And eventually this parasite's going to bleed you dry. No, you see, your job, contribute to them if you can. They contribute to you. Everybody gets bigger. Everybody's doing well. Not this, let me go ahead and hate on you. And that's why I'm saying to most of the females listening to me right now, y'all don't have an older generation you can rely on, and it's a damn shame. Like Alabama 6. Woke up this morning, damn shame about it. It's a damn shame about it, but it is what it is. I feel sorry for you. You can't rely on your mother. You can't rely on your grandmother. You can't rely on these old hoes in the neighborhood, at your school, at your job. I sure hate it for you. You're going to have to get used to that too, unfortunately, so that the next generation, you can start something different, especially you chicks in your 20s. Man, you all are the future, man. Females like Aaliyah, those of you in your 20s, man, y'all are the future. You're the key to turning this around. That's why these chicks do not want that. You are the key to turning this whole damn thing around. The chicks older than you, write them off. They're done. You're the key to turning all this around. And there are a bunch of people who have a vested interest in messing it up and making sure you don't ever make it. Because if you succeed, then that's it. The door for them is closed forever. And you know what? It should be. They had their chance. They had their chance. They had every opportunity to fix this and get it right, and they refused to do so. At some point, the bill comes due. And you young women in your 20s, you are the bill coming due. Now, you can write off your chances with them, or you can say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to a better place. We're going to do it different. I want to thank all of you here for tuning into tonight's program. And if you are new here to The Business, welcome to the program that all of your favorite YouTubers love to hate watch. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't joined up for our Patreon, the link is in the description. You definitely want to go ahead and join us for that as well. A lot of information, one-on-one discussion with me, and plus things that you don't hear about here on YouTube. The folks love it. You should check it out for yourselves. I want to thank all of you here for joining us tonight. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp, or Super Chat. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business or your business will handle you.